purple mark that sits prominently upon any body is the mark of the sage, and one of transmutation. The mark is reserved for the free-spirited, the unfettered, the calm, and the fully self-reliant adventurers. This bond can have a simple or narrow outlook on life, or fanatical, overly emotional, or lone wolves. A rare bond, as few have the presence of self to be a sage. The sage has the most opinions of Ashbond colors, and they spend the most time musing over the bias that has permeated the world. They generally get along with opal, green, black, blue, white, but dislike red, purple, blue for their adherence to rigid structure. These bound are seen as wise sages, or useless layabouts. Welcome, travelers, to the Dragonleaf, the tea house where tales are told. My name's Kelly. Sit down, the show will start soon. You want anything? You'll have to order it elsewhere. If you like the content, leave a like in the tip jar and subscribe to our weekly tales. Leave a comment in the suggestion box to let us know how well we did or how well we did not. Thanks for listening, and without further ado, it's time to open up shop. Hello!
Hello!
We had a rare guest appearance.
Dad, what are you doing in this episode?
He breaks fourth walls. Didn't you guys know that?
Oh, that's
should know
another one
that.
of his powers.
Once Kelly, we won't be able to see Kelly anymore.
I think that's the power of all dads, is the fourth wall breaking
Oh,
power.
that feels like a dad power.
Yeah, that's how they make
Power
it
of all
so.
dads.
Every now and then, if you're talking with your parents at dinner and they're just like, stare off into the corner with a smirk, you're just like, don't look at camera! What are you doing? Stop it!
Is Daddy
Are
Magic
we-
a
Oh,
DM for
Daddy
Dungeons
Magic.
and Daddies? Yeah, he's in D and Daddies all the time.
Are we basically insinuating that Ryan Reynolds is the epitome of a dad?
No.
Oh, I don't
He's
think so.
Deadpool. Deadpool is the king
Dadpool?
of orth breaks.
Since we
Okay.
have
Add-
both a this porridge is too hot and this porridge is just right, I'll go ahead and pick the opposite side and say Ryan Reynolds is might be the epitome of a dad. That way we've covered all bases.
He's
Last time.
Dad, just Sorry.
You don't get to finish your sentences. I
have
said
a
last
question.
time. Yeah.
Dungeon Master, I have a question.
Tamara first. I'm cutting you off now.
Okay. I think Ryan Reynolds is a cool person, and disclaimer, and he is an okay dad from what I know, but I don't think he's the epitome of all dads. Or
Ryan Reynolds, friend of the show.
Yes.
That's dangerous. We have clearly stated now that Ryan Reynolds may or may not be the ultimate father. Let's get the battle going.
I
No,
went to high
Candace.
school with my old boss. Okay.
Oh.
Anyways.
Corroborate.
No.
Cool.
Did you see purple blondes dislike other purple blondes? They're
Mhm.
like, these fuckers.
Basically.
Hell yeah.
I think he's
Nice.
insinuating that they just don't like people.
They like people and they don't like people. And they specifically like and don't like blue. Last time.
That sounds. Oh, sorry.
After a pinch of planning, the Deviants entered Woodholm, Xiana Stormdaughter's legacy house in the Whitewater Key, Joaquin, the goddess of commerce and money's district, and successfully infiltrated, separating her from her Goliath guard and convincing her to give herself up, knocking her unconscious and returning to Emir's safehouse in Mask's district, leaving the Goliath guard alive in the process. As the family flees the scene in less than a minute, the nobility of the house are roused. A mysterious masked figure named Lovelace appears on scene and spots a magically disguised Vincent, watching the party as they flee from the balcony. Once at Emir's safehouse, they interrogate Xiana. Jojo, Killian, and Matilda take to other rooms to begin to decrypt the giant rune cipher that has inset on her ledger, which holds illegal business secrets about the GTC, the Goldwater Trading Company. As they continue to crack into Xiana, her will is seemingly broken at the threat of slandering her name to the source of her idolization, Castile Goldwater, Vincent's grandfather. And at this point, we jump back in. I'll have you guys roll a d20, however. See which side to look at.
Ooh. Starting the day off good.
Oh, mysteries, Killian, mysteries.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
I don't even want to know what I rolled.
Let's
Hey,
see.
do you mind? Oh, look at that one.
You had to know, I'm sorry. That was the fumble of the nat one, is you needed to know you rolled it.
Well, no, you got it out of the way.
That's how
I
that
feel
works.
vindicated because of that one episode that you rolled all those nat 20s. So enjoy this nat one.
Hold on. I think now Vincent has the record for just
Mm.
back-to-back nat 20s, like 18 pluses.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That one was just like.
That one hit home though.
Matters,
It was
Yeah.
like my first time playing with you guys, and you're just like, what the fuck is this?
Fuck this guy. No kidding.
Jump in lava. How dare you get out of that alive? We begin on the inside of the room. Jojo, as you are continuing to decrypt the letter. Things keep popping up for me. You go ahead and kill all of these. Not the letter, rather, but this large kind of very fine-looking leather-bound journal. You see the various different ciphers that are kind of inset on it. Go ahead and make another investigation check.
Oh boy, am I ever gonna investigate it?
Time has not particularly passed, has it?
Between when Vincent kind of started, Vincent and Emir started kind of digging into Xiana, it's probably been about 10 minutes. 7 investigation. Yeah, you continue kind of tearing through the document as best you can. However, it seems to be there's quite a bit of it here.
Mm-hmm.
Though you understand the general nature of the cipher, it's definitely going to take quite a long time to dig any further information out of it.
By the way, we still good for birthday inspiration natty 20s?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Oh, I had
Hell
so
yeah.
many things going on that I forgot to mention anything. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, happy
birthday.
birthday,
You
Candace.
get a free auto nat 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, during this day, you get 1 free auto natural 20 of your choice.
How old
Nice.
are you now?
Super inspiration.
Should I think? I'm one of those damn 96 babies.
Oh,
That was a personal joke. We
It
don't hate
was.
everyone from 96, or do we?
Inside joke.
as we all look onwards towards the future, we'll end today's session here. We've successfully alienated a whole year's worth of people and Ryan Reynolds. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Okay, I'm one of you.
How dare you get out of my stream? I'm just kidding.
Okay, bye.
No! As we continue, looking onward towards this, is there anything you guys do as you kind of hear the general mumbling and aggressive shuffling on the outside of the doorway separating you from Emir and Vincent? Relatively soundproofed, this room, but you find yourself in basically a stone chamber underground. I believe you guys are just kind of sitting on various different ramshackle cots in this just kind of wet underground chamber.
I think frustrated by like how she's not getting very far in this cipher, and it's more challenging than she thought it would be. She turns to the others and says, "Do you guys what should we do about those grasslanders? Are we supposed to set up a meeting with Melora like soon? We're sort of like we've got too much on our plate right now. When should we handle that?"
I'm the only other person in this room at the moment,
I
correct?
think Matilda's here too. Eh?
Matilda
Oh no,
is-
Matilda's in the other room. Oh, right. Yeah, what do you think, Killian?
Killian is just kind of like sitting at the table, like kind of leaning in like this, just kind of like staring at a wall. It takes her like a moment to kind of like, oh, I don't know, I guess. Sorry,
It's okay.
I'm not really. I wasn't really.
You thinking about Killig?
I mean, kind of all the time, but not right now. Jojo. Orcs and half-orcs. They didn't, like, they're not from the dungeon,
Oh no.
but people call them monsters.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, there was like a war long ago, and basically the gods fought for territory on the world, and the gods didn't leave any room for Grumsh, like the orc god. So he made a race that would conquer lands and take territory that he believed orcs had claim to. So, when people have something and someone else takes it away, and they're not, that we're pretty violent about it. I'm sure people consider those people monsters. A lot of violence in my people's history. My dad was an oceanic raider before he came to Amaranth. He actually, so the orcs came to Amaranth to conquer the city. My dad was one of them who laid siege to this city.
Oh, okay. Do orcs, if they were made to fight, do you like, when you see someone, do you just want to fight them? Do you have like urges? Do all orcs have urges?
There's like a build up of like tension. I think if I don't run every morning, or like if I get frustrated, if I don't go to the pits and fight it out, usually actually getting hit in the face is sometimes better than hitting someone else in the face for releasing that type of stuff. But yeah, if I let that shit build up too much without externalizing it, then yeah, I might do something real stupid, and I have.
Okay.
Why? What's up? Are you? Do you stuff like that too? I noticed in that fight that you had a look on your face that didn't seem very you to me.
Yeah. Well, I get that way. When I'm really trying to hit someone. Like it happened when I popped that guy's knee out in the manor home. And when
feral
I
instincts.
Kind of. Well, so monsters have kind of the same thing. I helped a bugbear go shopping the other day. And all the shopkeepers don't sell him anything. He doesn't really buy too much. And it's not that they like won't sell him anything. It's just that like they don't have things his size. Like he looks at jewelry and it's like, oh, well, this is a cute little necklace. Like it won't fit around my neck. But they all just let him like handle the goods and like walk around. And I asked why, and it's because if they don't, then he gets mad and violent.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, that's, bugbears. That's what they're good at. I guess they're kind of like orcs. They were made to be like in charge and like really strong.
Maybe, how about you? You're worried about this person that you talk about?
Not, I mean, I think he's okay because everyone knows how to deal with him.
Do you want to help him though? Take out that angst like I do.
I don't know if. Is it better to? What happens if that just feeds it? What if he likes it and then he's like, oh well, I could just act like this all the time, right? Anyway, I know I just got chewed out for helping that Goliath that we were fighting. But when Matilda was telling me how to heal him, I felt like it would have been really enjoyable to just kill him. And that's happened a few times. And sometimes I just feel like I'm the only monstrous that's trying not to do things like that.
Do you want to come fight it at the pits with me sometime? See if, or are you afraid that you might be feeding something?
But like, are there bugbears at the pits? Do you see them?
Have I seen any bugbears at the pits? Oh, can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
It definitely would not be a common thing.
No, not really.
I wonder if, I don't know, I don't know. I mean, if I could find places in the city for the monstrous to be good at what they want to do and be recognized for it, if that is a good outlet, then that means that, you know, maybe when a bugbear goes and fights in the pits and gets all of that pent out aggression, maybe he then can go shopping and people can treat him normally. I just don't know. I'm scared.
I think I mean, people don't treat orcs better because we go and take out our anger in the pits. Most of the time I think people fear the fact that we could more so than that we would. I think orcs have basically the entire time after the siege, when orcs became part of the city, we've been trying to prove that we can mesh into this society, and it's really fucking hard. That's why my dad lives in the dungeon now, because a lot of orcs couldn't, and people would try and get them to show their true colors.
Yeah.
They would try and rile them up. I don't know, man. If you need help setting up something like that, let me know. If you want me to bring some people to the pits and try and get them to let them to fight, just let me know.
Okay. Are they... I mean, you're still alive. Have you ever lost?
Yeah, a lot. Less so now that I'm bound, but I've gotten the shit kicked out of me many a time there.
Are there people that, like, what would happen if someone kept fighting after someone was down?
That there's laws in place at the Honor Forge. They'd go to jail if they killed someone there, unless it was agreed upon that was a fight to the death.
Okay. All right. Let me think on it. But it's, yeah, okay. Thanks, Jojo.
Yeah, of course.
As the camera pulls out from the room and siphons through the solid wood doors and panels over, you see the northmost room closed and locked as it passes by Emir and Vincent briefly, kind of sitting back in a moment of silence, staring towards the bound Xiana. And it zooms in through the other door to see Matilda. What are you currently doing on the inside of this second room? I believe you're kind of currently sitting on like some storage crates and just sitting within this dark crypt-like room. Feels comfortable.
Yes. She said I looked familiar after I said some pretty upsetting things to her. So I moved back. And I'm watching the scene unfold. I do take Penny out of my bag, and I have one of those like long pins, and I'm kind of like looking at her and waiting for her to make eye contact, and I just like slowly shove a pin in Penny's eye of my little stuffed voodoo doll. But I'm kind of waiting to see how the scene unfolds.
As you've basically been underlit by a small candle to increase the terror twofold, you just slowly begin to terrorize this woman who, on the surface, seems calm and collected, but to Vincent's kind of astute vision, seems not accustomed to this kind of thing. Or at the very least, hasn't been for a while, so to speak. As the camera pulls back once more and sits starkly between Vincent, Emir, and this individual. Emir kind of sits back for a second, and you can see that she's just deep in thought, but just staring down Xiana for a moment before taking the dagger away from her throat and moving over towards you, Vincent. Do you have any individual thing that you want to say? Because Emir grabs you by the shoulder and is just like, convene in a minute. And then she moves over towards the room that holds Jojo and Killian and goes to open the door. What do you do?
Just to confirm out of character, convene in a minute. What does that mean?
She just says, basically, she's letting you know that she's heading out and saying, let's meet up in the room over here.
Like, we're done? Or...
No.
I'm just confused by this. Okay, she just wants to talk in private.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times with interrogations, you'll like do it and then you'll leave for a little bit and then
Yeah,
you'll come
I
back.
just was confirming.
Yeah,
Me
no,
out
okay.
of like Bianca the player has never done this before, so I was just like, what does that mean?
You haven't tortured and interrogated someone?
Not quite yet, Candace.
Ah.
It's on
Oh.
my list of things to do.
It's on your active list of things to do.
Vincent will just like look at her and then kind of nod and then look back and give like Xiana another like look up and down. We'll be back. And he'll get up and leave. He'll turn to Mo and he'll reach into his lapel and pull out what is akin to a handkerchief and throw it on the table. If she gets a little feisty and wants to cast a spell, just shove it in her mouth.
Mo smiles and takes it and just like grabs the edge and just begins to slowly peel single pieces off as he perches and like brings his knees up and his like shoulder blades just high so you can see the protruding bones in his body. He's just staring with his eyes peering through the darkness, faintly reflective. She just kind of sits back and just closes her eyes.
Follow
Matilda like removes the pin out of the eye very slowly. Do you want me to come out with you?
That's not a bad idea. Let's leave her to stew a little bit.
Okay.
She enters into the room with the cots, and the group finds themselves together for a moment. She looks towards the
How's
lot
it
of
going
you.
in there?
It's going well. She's all but broken.
That's fast.
She's trying
Didn't
to
take
put up
long.
front, but I wouldn't say she's used to this type of thing. She's
I'm
one
very
to be
good at
in
what I
charge.
do.
Here's the thing. So, I need you lot to trust me, and that's not going to be easy. I did just try to kill one of you not too long ago. But I have a plan. I think it'll work. Let's run ideas here. What do you guys think of all of this? Before I share my own plan.
This ledger will take me a week, probably, by myself to decrypt. It's definitely full of illegal transactions, though, of big amounts. So, if that might be helpful.
That's something we might be able to follow in order to try and get the flow of money into the trafficking of people. That's good. Good work. She kind of goes round robin and looks towards Killian.
Pass? This isn't really my forte.
She nods, and she's like, you could stab someone like a motherfucker, though. And then she looks over towards Matilda.
Oh. I would like to see what. I'll agree for now, but it's tenuous agreement.
She nods. Says, you are scary as shit. She looks towards Vincent. Or Jojo, rather. Anything you want out of this? Any plan? Anything that you're trying to get so I can see whether or not we line up?
Out of Xiana? Maybe, see how much she knows about her daughter. Her daughter's disappearance. Might be something we're interested in.
She nods. And she goes towards Vincent. What do you want out of this?
The same thing I told you last time, dear. You want her to turn herself in so she can rot away in, the crystal dungeons. Which I'm not opposed to. She just has to be out of commission and no longer a part of my dear Papa's establishment. And it would also, slight bonus, if they figure out her motive, she can be truthful about it. Which means that she'll let them know that she did it for Castile. Aside from that, I don't think it really matters. What is it, Matilda?
Acquire collateral.
Out of character, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I require collateral. So in order for this deal to go through, you need to give us something so that we know that this deal's good. So what are you willing to offer up to make this happen?
You guys did well. I'm not going to lie about that. You did a good job. And I don't want anybody to think that if you help me, you don't get reimbursed. I can get you probably around 400 gold each as a brief thank you, not as collateral. Maybe consider that to be a payment and maybe a little bit of a down payment on if I need to call on you again in the future. Friendship is hard to come by in the city. And that's not what I'm offering you. What I'm offering you is an alliance. So I don't have any collateral for you. I just have offers.
I'm sure you plan on asking her what she knows about that carriage.
I think we can get a lot of that ourselves. I happen to know a little bit about it already. It's not exactly a secret.
How much you know about the place that it came from?
Well, down on the docks on Seafoam Island, there's a little bit of a scuffle, let's say. As far as I'm aware, the carriage was sent from Ironhall. Sent there originally with some emissaries from a few families. Ironhall stopped producing. And then the information that came back was written in blood. Bodies, gore, just remains left. And not in a way that any person could produce. Just pieces.
The information, it was in the thousandfold tone, right?
You're well informed.
You think that that monsters from the dungeon are in Ironhall?
I don't want to give in to those fucking quack rift hunters, but it's been getting harder to ignore. If a rift opened up in Ironhall, that could be the start of this. Monsters pouring out of those fucking things.
That's a long distance for a rift to open up.
Go and open up anywhere the ash is falling, which at this point, most of the world.
The Sylph stream's been expanding for the last couple of years, so
Some people are worried about what's going to happen once it touches in again, but most scholars believe that the Ocean of the Lost is infinite. It'll never circle around again.
That's not probable.
I agree. Neither are gods. But here they are. She smiles a smirk, but you can see that she's basically like, she is on your side and is just being an asshole because that's her personality at this point.
well, let's wrap this up. I accept your offer. I think we can do well together, dear.
All right. I'm going to lie to her a lot. So just,
it-
again, trust me.
Vincent will go up and put a hand out for a handshake. We may have started out on the wrong foot, but this might be a budding friendship in the future.
She
Oh,
reaches a
Vincent's
hand out.
offer.
She like takes your hand and flips it over so that it's facing upwards. And then she reaches a hand out and grabs it. And then kind of just like in this just vertical handshake as opposed to horizontal. She just gives you a firm grip and then lets go.
Vincent takes note of this. Vincent will remember this pops up on screen, basically.
Okay. I'm gonna take this one. And here, actually, I was musing on something. There is one thing that I need you guys to know. So there's two options in front of us, right? If we want Xiana to really take the hit, you guys gotta come out as being involved. But there's another option. Here's the funny thing. There's no breaking and entering here. We were invited in by a happy and fanciful druid.
Of course.
There is no death. We did not kill anybody. Nobody fell to the ground in this fight. In fact, the aggressive Goliath charged us before we even got a word out in the room.
As far as I recall, she said attack the moment she saw us.
Now, with this information, if you come forward and you become public as the ones who infiltrated Woodhome, you turn yourself to the public eye. But there's nothing to hold you. This woman attempted to assassinate you, and you simply approached, invited, bidden. You grabbed her, you brought her to the second location to talk about the assassination, and then you let her go. To turn herself over to the courts. Now, if we do that, that will absolutely be a public case. Xiana will have lied, because I will ask her to. And then she will be locked away for the rest of her life. Umberlee will take the hit. Everything I'm about to say to her, not a fucking word of it is true. Alright? But, if you guys choose not to come out, I have connections. Nobody's gonna bat an eye at an orc and a goblin.
And a human.
We have patsies. The human's tricky, but a girl with brown hair is pretty easy to find. I could have someone else take the fall for this.
That'd be going public in a big way. We're already being tailed by Melora's people, so...
I don't like the idea of having another orc and a goblin take the fall for this. I don't really give a shit about another brown-haired human girl, but I know that Killian and Jojo are trying to change the perception a little bit of how people see them, and I don't like that.
I think going public, being like, this person tried to assassinate one of our family members, and now they're going to jail. That sets precedent that we won't be fucked with.
Yeah.
I'm okay if we go forward with this.
Just so you're all aware, I was never involved.
Mhm.
I don't even remember your name.
I never gave you the real one in the first place. Go ahead and give him my name. As of tomorrow, Mir Dillon is dead. Actually, if you can get away from the magical persuasion of answering, don't bring me up at all. If it comes up, just let me know. I have contingencies. She turns, waiting for any kind of sound from Mo. You don't hear anything. Xiana on the interior of this room.
Paige?
Yep.
Am I able to insight check what she meant by the magical persuasion? Like, what is she referring to?
I think just in general, it seems like she's referring to any magic that might enforce the truth out of you.
No, I understand that, but why is that relevant right now? Or
Saying basically, like, if you guys are forced to give a name, or was anyone else a conspirator in this, and you can't outright say no, because that would be a lie, and you can't work your way around it, she's saying it's okay to give a name, she will just die and disappear. Officially, nobody really knows what family she's with, because she is capable of changing her ash bond, it seems.
Okay. Vincent will turn to the rest of the family. In the future, since this is mostly regarding my pretty face, if anyone stops by to do any questioning, just leave it to me. Just don't have to worry about this.
My only concern at this moment, not to be selfish, well, maybe, is that she mentioned that I looked familiar. If she thinks that I look familiar, then if we go public and they kind of know who we are, then I don't know what ramifications that will have, if it'll have any. I wanted to be honest and let them know. No, I don't know
I
what
dug
she's
into her thoughts when she said that to you. She didn't quite know who you are. Vague.
I
It
don't
was
even
more
know.
of a feeling.
I don't even know what she was talking about.
Just brief flashes of nobility families, things like that. But in the end, she dismissed it. She said it was probably not the right thing.
Where? What noble families?
Vincent, does he know these noble families that she listed off in her head?
No, I don't believe so.
She didn't list them off. She just showed flash. Because like detect thoughts doesn't show me images. It's
no, I think all that was really mentioned was some vague connections to Heliance, which is a city to the north of Amaranth.
Okay, you'll mention that then.
Emir nods and she says, I don't like loose ends. I can have somebody look into this. Just get a list of the noble families and see if any of them have any particular unmentionables.
I mean, they will. If
Yes.
those are... You would have to look and see if they came into nobility about 18 years ago. That'll be the main thing that'll pop up.
She nods. Okay. Let's get this started.
Oh, and Emir, dear. How long do you think it'll take? I'm interested to see when the news starts to travel.
How long it'll take for word to spread?
Well, are you going to make her stew for you here for a couple more days? You're going to let her go just this evening?
No, I don't think we have that opportunity. Frankly, I don't really want to, but I feel like I have to go back as her to try and figure out some stuff. Leave the Goliath to me. It's too dangerous to let her go and actually speak with her vassals. She might have some kind of code, even if we scare her enough. So I'm going to be handling that myself.
And that's where my little friend comes in. Make it so that she can't.
That's good.
Do you want to use that? Or I'm free to let you do what you want.
I think just an added layer of protection. I'm never against it. And to answer your question, probably no more than a couple days. Within the day, as soon as she resurfaces, word's going to spread. As soon as she goes to the courts, then you're pretty much in the limelight.
Do you need me in there? I don't think Mo will listen to you.
Oh yeah, you're coming in. Matilda, I want you back at your post.
Okay.
I think in this front, let's actually bring everybody in. Just stand in the back and let me
Okay.
do the talking. All right. She grabs a small flask of wine. I'm sorry, she grabs a small flask of tea, takes a sip of it. She turns back and opens the door, kind of just like abruptly slamming it against the wooden wall, or the stone wall behind. She moves forward and she sits in front of her. Okay. Here's the thing. She sits in front of Xiana, who still is trying to ignore her and is just staring daggers at Vincent. You're going to serve a bit of time in prison. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to spread some rumors that you managed to escape the 2 assassins you hired to deal with Vincent. And you're going to tell people that you hired them to attack him. You fired them, and they showed up to attack you. They planned to steal some information for the Goldwater Company to random it off to the highest bidder, and afraid for your life, you turned yourself over to justice to ensure that you were safe. But in truth, you are placing the secrets of the GTC's illegal activities in the safest place of the city. This loyalty and sacrifice will not go unchecked by Castile. You will gain favor with the company and with the big man himself. This is the best deal we're going to offer you. You'll be in prison, and Umberlee will stand trial for dereliction of duty and negligence to protect her side of the Divine Treaty of Amaranth under the interface. If all goes poorly, you get 3 to 5 years, but we all know that won't happen. You're a hinge on Umberlee's reputation, and you cannot be allowed to sit in prison. So as the goddess of the deal over Umberlee's shoulder looks poorly on a bad investment, she will fight tooth and nail to free you, and will do so. Then you'll be doubly protected. You'll be delivered to a court where Umberlee has the most influence in the city, and you'll be held for about 3 days at most. This doesn't need to be made public. We can keep it just among the gods, yeah. See Xiana sitting back, and she's kind of looking around at everybody right now. just in mild confusion at like the shift in this movement. Why would you be? It says, if you are freed, public opinion will turn. Umberly will continue her position, if not for a little while. It'll buy her a minute. In return, I want records and information of the GTC's dealing in moving people, and the names of any ship captains, companies, and figures involved in moving them. Collect them, hide them, tell no one where they are. Keep them as safe as possible, and that way, when I steal them, you can say that you had no knowledge. Are we in an agreement? Then she stands back. Xiana looks down for a second, and she's like, I need some time to... And then Emir moves forward and kicks the bottom left corner of the chair out. She slams into the ground and then brings herself down to a knee with a dagger in hand, flipping it around. She says, I feel like you don't understand the situation you're in.
Every minute you make us wait, that's one less finger you're leaving this room with.
Matilda, roll investigation. Roll intimidation with advantage.
Hee I love this character so much.
You just hold up your finger with the missing.
Yeah.
15, not bad. She leans back, and you see her basically, like, at mid-sentence when she had began, just stops dead. She closes her eyes and says, what do I need to do? And Emir says, good girl. You're going to sign a contract. And then post that, you're going to stay here for a little while. And then we're going to let you go. We're going to escort you to the blind court, where Umberly has the most influence. You're going to tell your side of the story. I will pull some strings. And in time, you'll be out. And Castile will be that much more grateful.
Age, can I roll insight on Emir?
Roll insight.
I'm just actually trying to see if she's maybe gonna fuck us over and go with this side of the deal.
With a 13, everything she's saying seems to be the unabashed truth.
Mm.
She's also producing this air of, like, mild frustration as she speaks, almost as though she's getting a bad portion of the deal out of this. And you can see that as Xiana listens in, she's kind of, like, backed into a corner to the point where she sees the light out of this situation. And as Emir brings that chair back up and just hoists the broken leg in place so that Xiana now needs to sit incredibly still or fall to the stone ground again, you all lean back for a brief moment, and she says, whatever deal you're going to do with this thing, imp, you can do it now. Mo just looks and it's just like, you don't need to be rude. Looks back towards Vincent. And at this point, as you guys begin to discuss the terms of this contract, any specific clauses that you wish to be in this tact, this magical persuasion, to enforce this deal goes off without a hitch?
I guess just out of character, this is the opposite of what we just discussed in the room, so I'm confused.
Emir did say she was going to lie a lot in here.
Yeah, that's the point. That I didn't remember. So thank you for bringing that up. I didn't hear that. So I was just really confused during this.
Okay.
So anything that Vincent would want to add, he can't, because it would break what's going on. So he won't add anything.
Okay. I think Mo walks forward. He begins to incant this spell. Emir begins to lay out the terms. Basically, the terms are that which she had already stated to her. On top of that, she is unable to, under pain of 10d10 psychic damage, produce any information in regards to, like, you guys, even via magical persuasion. This will, if she is enforced to speak her mind, via any way that would be against her will, she takes additional damage. 4d10, I believe, if she attempts to speak of her own will, and she needs to succeed a save in order to attempt to do so. As the terms are drawn, she is allowed to, as you guys had discussed previously, speak only the facts about what she currently knows. Is that you guys came into her home, she hired assassins to try and kill Vincent, that you guys showed up in her home and she immediately attacked you. Her Goliath guard is alive and well, healed by the very people who she attacked, and like all of this incredible, fanciful, and positive information in regards that makes her, in the worst way, seem in the dark. As Emir begins to bind this contract, the two reach forward. The imp takes her hand, and as this just faint kind of echoing voice billows out from him, they clasp, and you hear this just immediate flaming as she winces for a brief moment, and as she pulls her hand away, you can see this just runic mark on her hand that slowly fades.
Who's bound? Is it Mo and her? Because there's two sides to the contract. It's not just a one thing.
The contract is between Emir and her.
Okay.
She sits up and she says, "When am I allowed to leave?" As I told you before, we will take you to the court. You will plead your case. And then everything rolls from there. She stands and she knocks on the door at the front of the safe house. And then she says, "Keep an eye on this one. Put them in the cots. Empty the room." Guy on the other side is just like, "Right, can do. No problem. Hey, I only owe you 2 now." And Amir's like, "Don't push it. It's still 3. And then just begins to make her way towards the stairs and is like, "Come on, everyone. Let's get out of here."
What now?
Are we out of earshot, of Xiana?
Yeah, you guys climb up the staircase and make your way out towards the outer district of Masks area. Some people on raised wooden platforms that are interconnected bridges to various different balconies of homes. You see 3 or 4 layers of houses, and people looking down kind of see you, and just dirty faces just staring down towards the muddy street corner that you guys stand in.
We're outside now, so we can't talk about this.
She says,
Yeah.
This is my place. We're safe."
Okay. That was an out of character question. I was just wondering.
That's cool.
Vincent will just go up to her and be like, "That was quite a tale, but just make sure you hold up your end of the bargain, or offer, I guess, in this regard."
Here's what's going to happen. I told her she was going to the blind court, and she is. Now, it's easy to get people in Tyr's district. Honestly, he's so focused on looking towards justice that he barely looks down at the people beneath him, so Umberly guaranteed has people there. However, so does Cyric. I'm going to use whatever connections I can to get her into the Crystal Court instead. Kellenbor is not exactly a fan of this kind of thing. So, when she gets there, she is going to release a various different degree of information. And she's not going to be telling the truth.
There's
I know that for a
someone
fact.
in Kellenbor's family that might owe us a favor.
Is this something from your past, Candace?
No, this is from the Dragonborn monk from the mansion that we
He was
released.
a painter or something.
No, they were a monk.
Yeah, left alive and released. Bidden to join you in the Honor Forge in honorable combat.
Mm-hmm.
She says, that's good. If they have any connection to the Crystal Court, that would be valuable. I have some friends of my own, but again, never hurts to add names into the pot. So, when she lies, and she will, because I'm certain she has the means to undo this spell on her own, that's when we become public. And when we release this information, and it turns out she lied, she will never see the light of day again. All of the information that is contained within the ledger that we still have will be released, and she will lose everything Castile will lose an asset, and the GTC will come under fire.
What's the GTC again? Oh, it's the Goldwater Trading Company? Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
Best tool in arsenal is when people underestimate you.
You have to plan for it. So, if we don't have anything else, I'm going to disappear now. You'll find a payment on the front door of your home.
What is it, Killian?
Is there anything we should do to prepare for court?
I don't think you guys will be going to court necessarily. Might just send someone to ask a couple questions later on.
They're going to want to try and keep this quiet. When this thing's
Okay.
deal with gods get involved, and they don't like the people on the ground to be involved. If anything, someone will show up at your home to question you. I guarantee you, they already know where it is.
Just let me do the talking to you.
All right. You all did well. And if anything happens in the future, if anything progresses here, might call on you again. If you're willing. And she looks at each of you.
Yeah, if you do have to, off your pretty little this persona of yours, how are we supposed to get in contact?
You don't. So as long as I live, you know where to find me.
Does Vincent know what she means?
Just means, like, for her, that's just so long as Emir Dillon is alive.
Yeah.
You have connection. If she is someone else, then basically that's just, you will not be able to find her. She will find you. If she has need of doing so.
Okay.
I have people with the capability of cracking ciphers. If you want to give me that book, or I can leave it with you.
I got it.
All right. Then I will be back regularly. She smiles.
Joy.
Okay. Pleasure. She turns and begins to make her way down the alleyway.
Matilda and Killian and Jojo, considering what just happened, news doesn't spread too fast out of the district, especially this late at night, but if you like, we could all sort of pair up and split off. So they don't match quite the description of what we were before.
Okay. I think I might have another disguised self in me.
How long does Vincent think it'll take to get back to the family house from here? Is it over an hour?
If you guys are jaunting,
If we take a carriage, I guess, the fastest way there. If walking is over an hour, then we'll take a carriage.
a carriage would be an hour.
Okay, then we're basically good.
Okay. You gotta usually find your way out of Masks District to get a carriage because of this just mad amount of roadways, but you're like 5 minutes from the top of the Lanes of Dawn. So you hail a carriage and you guys make your way back to the family home.
Jojo's going to disguise self to look like. I think she's going to look like something tall. She's gonna be a dragonborn. A copper dragonborn.
Vincent, being somewhat experienced with tails, leans in and is like, maybe wrap that around your stomach or something. If someone bumps into it, they'll go.
Just be a tailless one. Is there like the tailless?
Negative.
thing?
Dragonborn, there's a whole history about that. I don't think any of you would know about it, but the Dragonborn that you've seen thus far, no tails.
Cool.
Yeah. As you guys traverse through the city, first off, you're in a carriage. That's totally fine. You do not die from random event I was about to give you. As you guys make passage through the city, traversing far down, that is 4 silver, 5 copper for the carriage.
Who wants it this time?
I'll pay it.
In the pathway that had been taken through the Lanes of Dawn, you passed through the lanes, down the marble slates, down through the circle and then into the dennery. And as you do so, you take note that there seems to be a large congregation of people at this kind of just large, fine-looking building within the marble slates. It's an odd number of people. There seems to be some kind of an event going on in this location. But as you
which part of it?
within the marble slates, I can bring it in over here. Right here. As you pass by, you basically see this large courtyard. And I can draw here.
Oh, I see.
This courtyard right here is just filled with people. Especially considering it is just a large open space that is typically rented out, Jojo, that you would know for various different public opinion kind of events. But in this area, it's just dense with people coming and going, moving in towards the northern area.
Is it like a place where people go and protest?
Well, yes, that's actually quite often.
Okay, cool.
Due to, I think this area is where the Silver Cog Engineers Guild is.
Oh.
Having various ones of you with information about the marble slates and kind of history within this area, you'd probably generally know the location. And with Morrigan herself having some connection to it, she likely would have given you that spot. But as you guys pass through the city, seeing this large event taking place, the rest of the city relatively calm, and considering the time of night as just past 1 a.m., you circle through Old Town and eventually find your way back to the Old Town Manor. What do you guys do?
As we're doing that like 20-minute walk back after the carriage driver has left, you guys all did a good job. Thank you for that.
How you doing?
Me?
Yeah, that was a lot of
80.
personal stuff, right?
Well, just some extra baggage in my past, but I knew it would catch up eventually. It's not emotionally invested in it per se, but it is a bit of a thorn in my side.
So we meeting up in the morning? Or what's the plan now?
I'll stay this evening. I need to have a word with Lavos.
Yeah, I could just use some sleep.
Okay.
I'll let you guys know if anything happens.
If anything happens with Lab.
Well, my mark's been bothering me for the last couple hours. I think I'm pretty close to breaking something.
Well,
I
that's
don't know
good.
what's in store. I've never done this before, and it doesn't seem like we have anyone in the family that's gone up a rank, so don't actually know what will happen.
Do you want us to be there with you when you do it?
If you guys want to see the show, I wouldn't mind. I'm always there to perform.
Okay. How about you go entertain us then?
Of course, dear. Vincent will smirk.
You can hold your hand if you need it.
I think that might interfere. I need a little bit more freedom than that, Matilda. But you can hold Jojo or Killian's hand if you really need to.
You begin to move in towards the home. Entering in, you find just a silent house. Paka kind of just splayed out on top of the dining room table off to the side. You can hear him snoring with his lizlets. And as you begin to move through, like the first creaking footstep, a doorway opens off to the side and Lavos kind of shows up and is like, "How are you? How was everything? How's everything going?"
Well, we're alive, so very well, I guess.
Well, I knew that was going to be the case. I'll trust you. Did anything... Tell me everything. And he just moves over towards the kitchen and begins to grab some tea. I feel like I'm forgetting something. That's fun, isn't it?
You forgot about the assassins that are trying to kill us?
Oh, yeah, there's assassins here, guys.
Yeah.
Right, that was it. Thank you. Roll initiative.
Like my My mother's here, but she'd be asleep by now.
Definitely asleep, with no doubts in my mind.
I don't think there's anything else at the family house.
Oh, as we made our way here, did we see more grasslanders spying on us?
You didn't.
Okay.
Not with your passive perception. If you wish, you can retroactively roll perception.
My passive is so bad, so yeah, 10.
10? Did not see anything. Lavo sits down at the table. Do you guys regale him with your tales of the evening?
Yeah, we fill him in.
Alrighty.
I think Killian lets you guys fill him in, and Killian just goes straight to bed.
Is it really you? We had a bunch of people try and kill us. How do we know that it's actually you?
Mary, I could mess with your bonds. I could do it. I might help you there.
Vincent wants you to mess with his bond.
Oh, yeah? How are you feeling? Feeling a bit tingly, are you?
A little bit more aggressive than that, but sure.
Oh. I've never done this before, so it's exciting.
First time. Well, I'm always up to a challenge.
Is it gonna be a challenge? He sits back and begins to think about that.
I don't know, Lavos. A god tells me that he's never done something and he's going to do something to me for the first time. I assume it's gonna misfire here and there.
Yeah, let's move on with the assumption this is a challenge. And here, alright, strip.
Why?
I need your bond.
That require all the removal of my clothes.
No, but I mean, any degree of strip is stripping, isn't it? Watch this. He takes off his shoe, places it on the ground, like gently, and he's like, eh?
Maybe in some circles, dear. Here, I don't know if this will cause noise. When I was first bonded, there was a lot of like spinning movements and floating up in the air. I don't want to wake my mother.
I think I remember crying. Like there was
Yeah.
crying involved.
Oh, you're good.
No, definitely not for me. That was definitely you.
I guess he'll go down to like the training room. It should be
Okay.
somewhat quiet down there.
Find yourself in this just stone-laden room. Weapons lining the shelves, and everything's been kind of neatly organized. Various different training dummies offset in the side, and large targets that have been built up into the walls with bows in the corner. Lavos just cracks his neck and strips down to a single muscle shirt. And like this is probably the first
Not
time you've seen him in less than 5 different layers, and he's actually quite jacked. He removes his clothing and just sits there, just inset with muscles. He places it down. He's just like, what? Perhaps he also he's very youthful for what his demeanor produces that of like a 80-year-old man as he moves about the general home. But he's incredibly youthful as you see him. The beard really takes it away.
Vincent will take off his like outer coat and like drape it over probably a chair upstairs as they're walking down, and he'll start to undo his he's wearing like a dress shirt. He'll undo the cuffs on his arm and like roll them up so they're like midway up his sleeve, and then kind of undo his neckline a bit, just so like he has more range of motion right now. Well, let's get this started. If I don't make it, Jojo, just I don't know, tell Alexi to watch over my mother.
I thought that was gonna be a joke, but that sounded sort of serious. Yeah, I'll tell Alexi to take care of your mom.
Thank you, dear. Never be too bad, I guess. And he'll kind of stand a little bit away from the group and just kind of like gesture to Lavos, giving him permission to come over.
He leans in. And then you all expect kind of this just fanfare in the open air as Lavos places his hand on right here over Vincent's chest. And then like just moving his fingers around ever so slightly, almost trying to like find kind of pathways. You see him just lock fingers down, one over the other, one on the collarbone, moving down, one in the center of the chest. Thumb like moves over towards the shoulder and locks down, and you feel this just faint pressure as your ash bond begins to heat up ever so slightly. And initially, the ash begins to, in a similar fashion, like move in individual little dances, as though performing something for you. And at once, all of them just stop. You all feel a brief sense of cold as the ash, faint pulse, moves out from the two of them. One more passes through your bodies as the ash, almost in a means of attempted escape, begins to move away from Vincent, but slowly the individual flecks begin to move in line. And one by one, move in towards Vincent's body as though bidden or commanded. And as they move in, you almost begin to hear the screams of the open air. Like heat. Like steam pouring out of a small kettle, but fast, hesitant. And as the ash makes its way in towards Vincent's body, just piece by piece, Lavos leans in and just takes a deep and tentative breath, closing his eyes. Vincent. On the inside of your mind, you feel Lavos' touch leave you. The world around you, dark, slowly begins to fade to just this pale gray. And it goes off into the distance, where you find yourself in an old stone home. Some of the walls carved directly from what seems like some cavernous mass, and others loose, incredibly rudimentary mason stonework placed on top of each other, as it slowly, just piece by piece, crumbles away, lifts itself up and out, and begins to move out into the distance. And in the vast distance, you see two eyes, two burning eyes that seem to be lit with cold flames that just peer down towards you. You feel the weight of that gaze.
I think Vincent meets it.
Moves
Just
in
holds
closer.
it. Doesn't feel intimidated by it.
Closer and closer. The rest of you continue to hear those screams, and they become more human. And then those screams of humanity turn more to those of creatures. Lavos opens his eyes, but it seems to him, as he slowly pulls his hands off your body, that your mark has not changed yet. But the ash continues to move as Lavos begins to take a step back. Vincent, what happens with your mark?
Is he still in the dreamland?
That's up to you. As you find this area around you, slowly those eyes gaze, meeting yours. You feel in control. You feel powerful. You feel tempted.
I think as Vincent just makes eye contact in this room, takes one more look around, and then just blinks and closes his eyes and open it, and he'll be back in the room, and he'll kind of look around and then look down. He'll look towards Lavos and just go to like raise his arms up to like look around to see if anything's changed. Are you sure this isn't done right? And then as he finishes the right at the end, I think he's going to like freeze and shudder a little bit, and the mark on his chest is going to start like leaking this black shadowy ichor out of it, and then all of a sudden it's going to split into three forms. One spirals down an arm, the other spirals down another arm, and the other one goes up and wraps itself around his neck. And then he's going to basically, because he was lifting up his arms to look, be thrust back against the wall and pinned there. He's going to slam his head back and kind of put it down. I don't know if you want him to take a bunch of damage from that.
I'd say roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, 4.
It's in that just brief moment, you just hear like a as the liquid begins to move out from your mark, and then as you slam into the back of the wall, faint cracks form in the foundation. Your head hits the side of the wall. You take 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. From the ones that spiraled down his arms, kind of like clasp upon his wrists and like pin them against the wall, almost kind of like chains. But they're like smoke kind of like swirling around there, and then blood starts to drip, kind of like the smoke's eating at his wrists. Same with his neck. It's like pinned back. And I think he just kind of like reels for a second, just like with the impact getting hit in the head, and then kind of like puts his head down and looks and sees that there's a little bit of the extra shadows around the mark on his chest, and it's starting to seep in and take over his gold tattoo and turn it black. And as it keeps seeping closer and closer and like turning it, he's just going to simply look at it and then just kind of smirk, and then in Infernal just say no, and it's just going to like shatter out. Same with the ones on his wrist. They're going to start to form cracks of golden light as it like shatters out, and he's going to fall to the ground a little bit, and up his arms and down his neck is going to be like triangular glass of gold that's been shattered down and up his arms, like so down his neck about 2 or 3 inches and up his arms that the smoke had turned into, and a little bit of glittering shattered glitter around the mark on his chest.
As you look back up once more to meet the gaze, Lavos at this point had already had his hand out to the rest of the party, as so to say, don't interfere, not yet.
Yeah, Jojo looked like she was like about to charge, and then like the hand of Lavos stopped her.
You hear like the pitter patter of feet as Killian comes like rushing down the stairs from where, because she wasn't here for most of this, but then she heard like the thumping and like a bunch of screams, so she like ran down. She has her like rifle out.
Yeah.
She's like in her like essentially nightgown, but she sees Lavos's hand as well and is just kind of like staring from like the banister of the stairs.
Sometimes feel like our house is like a trailer park but in a mansion. I don't know why, but it's just like this a little creature in a nightgown with a gun. This is like, what's going on?
And as Vincent lands, he'll just kind of like look up and kind of like shake his hand off a little bit and go to prestidigitate the blood away from his wrists and his neck. Killian, glad you came. And he'll look back at the wall. Do you mind mending that?
Yeah, I think I can.
He'll just walk forward.
That was
I hope you guys enjoyed the show.
That was very on brand for you, Vincent.
Well, I knew it would be difficult, but I didn't know it would be this fun.
Lavos has like
entertaining.
Lavos has a look on his face that you've never seen before. It's just one side of his like mouth is just distorted into this smile, and you look at him, Vincent, as you kind of like just blink periodically. Your eyes, in one quick motion, replace the solid golden sclera with that of this just inverse flames of hellfire, this pale blue that ignites, and then Lavos's left half of his face has the same colored eye, and then slowly that distorted smile and those crooked teeth just disappear as he blinks and looks towards you, and he reaches in and he places his hands on your shoulders and he says, "Congratulations, my boy. You did it."
Well, I appreciate your aid in this. It's quite invigorating after tonight.
I think we figured out who Lavos' favorite child is.
It's Parker. And then he like takes one brief step back. I'm just kidding. I love all my children, and nothing's gonna happen to any of you. You hear that? And he just like yells out into the open air, and he looks at the wall, and he's like, "Do you hear that?" Just points basically in various different directions. He says, "Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm gonna make us the rest of that tea." And he begins to make his way towards the door, and he just throws it open, and he just like gently moves past Killian. And as
he has more to deal with than I do right now.
That's very comforting. He reminds me of my pom-pom.
Interesting. And just so you guys know, I I gained some more information about my new bond. It's not quite what it was before, so I think this should be quite a bit more fun to use. But I gained a level in sorcery.
Oh.
So
How
As you begin-
common is multi-classing?
Not overly common. Most people are not defined by multiple things, and everybody roll Arcana in this instance as well.
Even if we're not proficient.
Yeah, even if you're not proficient. Both Vincent and Matilda. You are aware generally the nature of like sorcery in general lies somewhere in bloodlines, which for a tiefling, not overly surprising. You know that there's already some bloodlines involved there. However, the concept that a like sorceress origin would manifest, especially over top of another person's like personality and history and overt experience tied to their ash bond, this is uncommon. If he was a sorcerer, it's likely that his bloodline would have taken such precedence early, and the fact that it has burst into this kind of this distinct form piques your interest, the both of you. And as you begin to step, Vincent, you almost leave these just like black shadow prints underneath your feet, and you begin to make your way. Nobody with their passive perception sees this, but as you close the door, the last footprint on the inside of the training room fades away to shadow. And that is where we will take a break. As you all begin your long rest this evening, Vincent having partaken in this new power, you feel different. Your body feels lighter. The power that kind of just seeds through you as you clutch your fist and open it. In a similar fashion to like if you take your hand and you just do this very fast, you can feel the air between your fingers. In this instance, when you close your hand and open it, you can almost feel like wind resistance just from the movement of your arm. As though your whole body has just become more lithe, just more agile. And
I think like as the rest of the people clear out of the training room, Vincent will stay behind for an extra second. And he'll look towards like a small crate on the ground and just like make a couple symbols, and the crate will just fly against the wall and smash into it. I'll be like, good. And he'll continue walking.
Lavos is probably like, I'll clean that up. I'll fix that. Don't worry. That crate was going to be in use. It was empty right now. That's fine. As you guys begin your long rest, I'm going to charge you money for existing. Welcome to real life. Go ahead and... that's what this is for, right? This fantasy game is so that I can charge you guys groceries charges.
Yeah.
Did nobody work today? I don't believe anyone did.
No. Vincent's very energetic right now. He's tempted to take back what he said to Jojo about staying here and head out, but
we can't say we live rent free in Adrian's head because he fucking charges us rent. To
Yeah. I mean, you would still live there one way or the other. It's just your ass would be on the street. On the street of my mind. Jojo.
Should I roll health as well, Adrian?
You absolutely should. Let me get this cash by... your health is determined by your welfare. So let's determine that first. Jojo, your cost of downtime in the city is 2 silver, 5 copper. Killian, 1 silver, 5 copper. Matilda, 1 whole gold piece. And Vincent, 2 gold pieces. And now roll me that health. I want to see it.
Nice.
Oh, love to see it.
Still less than I would have gotten on a D8, but that's decent.
All right. And as you all wind down from the evening and kind of take rest and like think deeply on the mission that had just transpired behind you, you awaken in the morning all together to find just a calm and happy atmosphere that belies the mission from last night. Birds chirp on the exterior of the house. You hear some faint footsteps leading through the home, which is, of course, Paka and his lizlets, making their morning run throughout the home, each doing 30 odd laps of the first floor before moving on to the second. and you hear them abruptly stop. The kind of like oaken front door opens, and then the sound of just a massive heft of gold pieces hitting the floor.
Vincent will come out and kind of peek over.
He hears that. It's like Pavlovian response. Oh, money!
Of course.
Just that, of course. You peeking over,
You
you
didn't say
see
that. That's what. Yeah.
you see a large sum of gold. You see 1,600 gold pieces has been inlaid in a small pouch that had been just placed upon your doorstep gingerly this early morning, and a handwritten note that just says, "With regards." Nothing else beyond.
We're good to add 400 gold to our inventories.
You can each add 400 gold to your inventories, the four of you.
Vincent will check them too. Are they fake?
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Oh,
Can I add
no.
proficiency to this because I have forgery kit proficiency?
You actually can't for a different reason.
Okay. Vincent's made some of these themselves. 10.
10. You investigate it. The gold seems absolutely real. And not even from a standpoint of just like looking at it, you with your forgery experience are 100% certain that this gold is real.
I give 350 of it to Paka so I can eat that thing finally.
Huh.
Paka takes it and he's just like, he just sits there and revels in the solid, brilliant, flourishing yellow that surrounds him. He pretty much just dives in, and his kids walk up and they go to take one, and he just like raises his head out like a dragon in a horde, just slithering back and forth, staring at them like, "Do not touch my
My shinies.
Yeah, the kids just begin to move in, and you see them erect a plan as they begin to flank him, and his eyes just kind of like stare in both directions at once. There is no escape, my yellow. And then they begin to play in just pile of gold on the floor of your mansion.
Paka's just like, I can smell your fear.
Paka's OG. You guys have no idea. But in the early morning, as you all take in this fine, brilliant sunlight that is pouring in through the open windows, Lavos is sitting in the kitchen, kind of reading a magazine. Newspaper, rather, not a magazine. There's like leaflets outset, and you can see he has like some newspapers from several days ago and pamphlets that are handed out throughout the city, and he's just sitting and reading them all.
Killian.
Yeah.
Vincent will go over. You were too busy the other day. Would you want to come over? I can introduce you to my dear Laura, my mother. She'll be living in the manor going forward, so I just want to make sure you two are acquainted.
Oh, okay. Killian like looks down at her like stained overalls.
Vincent will
just like,
press digitation if she seems embarrassed by it.
okay. Is this? Do I need fancier clothes?
No, dear. She'd prefer you like this.
Okay. Sure. Lead on.
And Vincent will bring her over. This is the morning, right, Adrian?
Yes. As you approach her room on the second floor, I believe, you find your...
I was just gonna say in the morning.
Bring them in.
Because she's used to getting up
She's on
early.
the
She
first
wouldn't
floor.
be in her room. She'd be outside on one of the benches, probably having some tea in the sun.
Brilliant.
Or in like the early mornings before the sun gets too hot and too high. She can't stay out very much.
Making your way through the mudroom into the exterior balcony. I'll actually just go ahead and bring you guys here. There's a few things you notice as you exit out. With your passive perception, Vincent, you notice that there is faint rustling of bushes in the distance. And as you kind of approach your mother, she not having noticed this. Vincent, good morning.
Hello.
Come,
mother.
please, I've prepared a small pot, and we should
No,
be...
just- You relax for right now. I wanted to actually
All right.
introduce you to my last family member, at least the ones that are here. This is Killian. Vincent will step aside and gesture at Killian.
Come on, let me have a look at you. And she smiles.
Killian's just kind of like wringing her apron in her hands. She's nervous for some reason. And then just kind of like kind of like wanders, like slowly plods along to stand in front of. What does your mother look like?
You can go ahead.
No, I want you to do it. That's what I was going to ask.
You see, as she sits, she's wearing this kind of just shawl, in clothing that almost seems familiar to like the clothing that you had seen in the change room previously in the manor. You can see that Lavos has like offered a small wardrobe, and she's kind of in this just like sundress, but also wearing a long sleeved shirt underneath it, and pants beneath, with flats on her feet and gloves on the left side of her hand, or on her left hand rather. She has, as she looks up at you and kind of like raises the shawl slightly, you see she's very bashful, but she has burns that cover about 60% of her face. You can see that it's missing, or 60% of her exposed skin. And you can see that she's missing just a large portion of the hair on the top of her head, and her cowl kind of drawn down sheepishly over top of that. And as you approach, you can almost feel a kindred spirit in the same kind of nervousness that you feel, immediately moving forward towards her. She has... She has
human?
blonde brown hair and I believe blue eyes, correct?
She has green. No, she has kind of a lighter brown hair, and she has a like hazel eyes, like brownie green eyes.
Yeah, she is human, right?
Yeah.
The one question that people ask that I'm just like, of course she. Oh right, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. No, as you begin to approach on the balcony, you can see she's sitting there, and there's just this. Vincent, roll insight. Killian, you can also roll insight here.
Okay.
Is this against my mother?
Yes.
Do I get any sort of advantage?
I would say so.
No, you get disadvantage.
20.
With a 20 and a 16. Killian, you can tell that she's very nervous and is cycling through emotions. Vincent, you can almost feel that there's a faint excitement there as Killian approaches in this just new scenario. And Elora, it's an excitement that's almost just like, oh, I've never had I don't have very many experiences to interact with younger females. She's sitting there being like, I've always had a son and I don't leave the house very much. You kind of reading into your mother deeply or just pulling all of this information. And as you approach, she's just like, here, I tell you what, why don't we both stand up straight together?
Okay.
She nervously brings herself back, and you can see that even she's a little bit uncomfortable in this, but is leading the charge. She's like, it's very nice to meet you, Killian. My name is Elora.
Nice to meet you, Elora. And a hand just shoots out for a handshake.
She meets it basically at the same timing as you place your hand out. You find a hand waiting for you. And then in this just brief tentative shake, she says, would you like some tea? I've prepared a pot, and I don't think I can finish it on my own.
Sure. Do you mind if I sit next to you?
Of course, come. I'm not very accustomed with small talk, so I hope you don't mind a bit of comfortable silence.
Sure, that's fine by me. All I do is small talk.
Vincent will go over, kind of leaving them, and he'll give a little nod to his mother and lean down and give her a kiss on the cheek. He's going to go lean against the wall here and take out his lute and just start playing a little bit of a morning classical tune. Something light.
The shuffling in the bushes that you had seen previously, relatively absent. And from the other side of the manor's exterior gardens, you see some deer just begin to move their way out of the forest, stop and look towards the humans.
Can I send a message in that direction towards the shuffling and just see if it's beans?
Ooh, you send a message. It was quite a distance away, beyond the range that your
120?
Yeah, beyond 120, kind of off just at the rear side where the forest kind of meets the outer walls.
Okay, that wouldn't reach.
This morning, Jojo wanted to take a look at the study door that we have not been able to open. She's just going to if anyone is in like that area, JoJo's just going to be like standing in front of it, and she does her like a magic awareness on the door to see like what kind of magic is warding it.
Okay. I need you to roll fate dice, just a straight d20.
Ooh, my
Excellent.
my birthday inspiration.
Are you going to use it here?
Is that a thing I can say after I've rolled, or do I have to be like before I roll?
There's no
You
stipulations
declare
on it.
Inspiration after you roll, but before you determine the results, right?
Ooh,
Yep.
fate dice.
Is the
Fate dice.
Is it steady upstairs?
No, it's
First
downstairs.
floor.
Fuck it. I'm using my birthday dice. My
Okay.
birthday dice here.
Okay. The universe shifts and distorts. The fun thing about inspiration is it has a physical presence in the world. If you have a point of inspiration, it appears as a diamond on the back of your palm. And then
Ooh.
as you use inspiration, it dissipates and fades off. Some people believe that this is literally like the universe altering itself to aid you in some way or the other. So
cool.
some people that hold this diamond on their fist can literally just be like, you can't do anything against me, I'm invincible, and then they just die because they used inspiration and then rolled a 6 kind of thing.
Oh no.
But it's
So did
witness-
JoJo wake up this morning and then immediately it's like gone and she's like, what was that? Okay.
You have a diamond on your hand that kind of sits. It's got these just bent inner edges, and it flares out into 4 points. It seems incredibly flourished. And as you begin to move in towards the door, it fades off of your hand. With your magic awareness, go ahead and roll perception for me.
It's a 6.
A 6. You glance about the door, but you do not notice anything magical upon it. Looking around the rest of the room, you also do not notice anything particularly magical.
Okay. He's gonna just go and try and open the door.
Okay. You approach the door, you attempt to open it. It is locked.
It's just normal lock? I think she's gonna go find the others. Unless, what was Matilda doing this morning?
I was waiting to see if any loud noise happened, because Matilda would be like, "What the fuck?" People would check it out, but Matilda's in the front sitting room, sitting on the couch with lots of papers as usual.
Hey, you want to help me try and get this study open? I think I'm gonna try and find Killian and see if she can just unpick it. I don't see any magic on it, so I don't know what. Was there like a key lock on it, or was it like a combination lock, like the other locks had sort of been in this place?
It looks like the exact same door to the rest of the home. There was only really one strange combination lock on the safe in the second floor.
Okay.
The rest of them are just key locks. This one as well, just a small keyhole.
Killian!
Do I even hear JoJo from outside?
Yeah, just like muffled through the room. And Alora's like, "Oh, it seems you're being bitten."
Oh, okay. Do you do this often in the mornings?
It's my morning routine. You are always welcome to join me if you wish.
Okay, I'll join you next time. And she just takes like the tea that she hasn't really been sipping because it's been too hot, and she just chugs it, and then like places it down, and then just like swallows, and you can just see like her whole face turn like a mottled, like dark green. She's like,
in a brief moment, she, not knowing what to do, just takes a handkerchief out from underneath the teapot and hands it to you. It's just, careful.
Thank you. And she takes it and she just like wipes her forehead with it, and then like realizes that she's just like dirtied this handkerchief that she gave. It's like looks to Vincent and just like tosses it,
In the air.
well, like towards Vincent, and it's like it probably lands like right here.
That's what I was thinking. I'm just like,
Yeah.
he just continues playing his lute.
Yeah, Killian just like is now incredibly like embarrassed, and also doesn't know what JoJo wants of her, so she's just gonna say something like "Presta digit thingy," and then just like immediately leave.
I think Vincent will kind of. The song's not technically done, but he'll end it in a nice way, and he'll put his lute back on his back and kind of walk over, and he'll use his gust cantrip to like whirl the handkerchief up and then just grab it from the air, and she can be quite good company. You guys should hang out more.
Your family are all very peculiar and lovely. I look forward to getting to know them more. This is a good opportunity to get out of my shell.
And he will press the digitation at Killian's request, the handkerchief, and give it back to his mother. I should go see what that is. I don't want them like, I don't know, breaking down a door or something when I'm not there.
Of course, Mother.
Hey, Killian, could you break down this door? No, I'm kidding.
Quickly, before Vincent gets here.
That says his door's locked, or he says it's warded, but I didn't see any magic. Could you try picking it, or maybe just check and see if it's trapped? I tried to open it, and it didn't kill me, so it's at least that's safe.
Well, hold on. Let me just. And she takes out the pearl and her tools and like clamps the pearl and just starts like slowly over the course of like 10 minutes, just like moving the pearl back and forth across the door. She would like to cast Identify.
Yeah,
It's a door.
It's possible that the wards are just on the opposite side of the door, and I can't see them.
As you cast this ritual upon the doorway, you receive the information that there are... I'm just going to make a ruling on this one. There are 2 spells, one of which is not affecting the door, but is utilizing the door as a means, almost like a fulcrum, like to keep it active. And the second spell, there is basically this door itself seems to be like, it looks like a normal door on the side that you guys are on, but on the other side, there's almost a completely different set of locks that have an arcane lock cast upon them. Now, this second spell that is using the door kind of as like just a means to remain on the material plane is, do you gain the knowledge of the spell if a spell is affecting it, correct?
If it's a magical item or some magically imbued item, I learn its properties and how to use them, etc. And then I learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are.
Excellent.
If the item was created by a spell, I learn which spell that was.
Okay. The doorway itself was not created by a spell, but the spell that is using this door as a fulcrum is a Glyph of Warding. So here's the question is, would you know what is in the Glyph of Warding?
It's a great question.
You learn all of its properties, probably.
If it's a magic item. But you learn what spells are affecting it.
Or a magic imbued object. But yeah, I think I learn what the spells, any spells that are affecting the item and what they are. I don't think I would know if there's choices to be made within the spell, whether or not, like, which one it is. I would just say,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd just be like, it's protected by a Glyph of Warding. I guess that's a spell. I don't know.
How does JoJo know anything about that spell?
You can roll Arcana because Glyph of Warding is, or actually, is anyone proficient in Arcana here?
Yeah.
Killian or JoJo. Perfect. You may roll Arcana.
Bad rolls today. 11.
11? 1 second. No, unfortunately, you don't.
I am there, but it won't let me pull Matilda over.
I can.
Okay, I can't move Killian either.
Are you guys in combat? Lol. Here you go. You should be good.
Woohoo.
I'm gonna check the spell level. 8. Actually, you literally just passed the DC. Glyph of Warding is a spell that can be cast that stores other spells within it and can activate upon specific triggers. What that kind of tells you is that in the nature of this, there's likely a specific way of opening this door. And whatever spell is stored within this Glyph of Warding will activate if that situation is not fulfilled properly.
So if we mess this up, it might be bad for the whole house. It It might be a code word that we have to say before opening it.
Is warding just on the door?
The Glyph of Warding is like it could be on the whole house.
With Lavos, he kind of moves in and is just like, I've turned this house upside down. There's quite a bit of magical things going on, but I got rid of most of them. And some of them are still useful, so I kept them around. But I can tell you there's nothing else that's of any kind of harm to us in this home.
Because if it's just a
Oh, you can go ahead.
if it's just a glyph of warding on the door, we could just take a wall out.
You said that the Glyph of Warding requires the door as like a fulcrum to stay. So if we destroy the door, then it might be okay. Right, Killian?
Do I know the details of Glyph? I don't know the details of Glyph of Warding, right?
You're unsure. I think
Yeah.
with Jojo having known the details, you can go ahead and roll investigation. And Matilda hearing the Glyph of Warding, you can also go ahead and roll. Are you proficient in Arcana?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't believe so.
Could I
Okay,
help
so you would be
Killian with
unaware.
his investigation roll?
This is actually your investigation roll, Jojo. Since
Oh,
you
okay.
are, since you know the details of Glyph of Warding.
Gotcha. Can I assist her since I have proficiency in investigation, or would I need proficiency in Arcana in order to assist?
I think you would probably need the Arcana proficiency or have this spell on your spell list of a level that you could cast.
All good.
It's only a 12.
A 12 with the general base knowledge that you have of Glyph of Warding. There are many. There's an infinite amount of triggers that this thing could have. Without knowing the trigger, it could be like if someone opens the door, if the door moves, if something enters the room, if the glyph faces the wall. Like it could really be just about anything. So it is definitely a danger without knowing what the glyph does or what the trigger would be.
I could cast Firebolt on the door.
Yeah, let's not. We could,
Why?
because you might destroy it, because the trigger could be anything. That could trigger the spell. And then the result of that could be to make us all fall asleep in the house or something like that. Make fog fill the house and never leave.
Matilda, my mother's on the other side of that study outside. If it explodes, you're very liable for that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's dangerous.
Let's take out a wall then.
I think it might be best if maybe we put out a call to aid from some wizard to dispel this spell.
Well, dears, if we can all pitch in a little money, I could go see about maybe acquiring a scroll. Might be cheaper than a wizard.
I mean,
It
I
would
have
be.
a couple scrolls that are that I need to fulfill that I have.
Do you have anything of Vincent gain? This is what I wanted to ask Adrian. Does Vincent gain the knowledge of the spells he can cast, just not access to them unless he takes them?
You have, yes, anything of a spell level that you can cast as a sorcerer, you gain the knowledge of as a spell.
Okay, so Vincent's only a level 1 sorcerer, but he has 3rd level spell slots. Would he know what dispel magic is, but just know that he can't gain access to it?
Correct.
I can, if we can buy a scroll, it'll be of 3rd level. Is that the level you're capable of getting until then?
I don't think so, but I could also cash in that instead of 2, I get 1 3rd level.
The thing with that is this Glyph of Warding is a higher level spell, so it's possible that it might not work.
Well-
It's hard.
If Matilda and you guys aid me in this, we could find some way to increase our chances. There's always a chance it succeeds.
Why don't we
based on
ask
your
Emir to
finding
pick the
others.
lock?
Because it's not about the lock, it's about the spell.
I know, but I mean, then it wouldn't be us getting hurt by the door.
Again, we
It's
don't know
the
what
whole
it's going
house,
to do.
Matilda. The whole house can hurt us with this spell.
This spell's dumb. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, let me know if you guys wish for my aid. For right now, I think we're kind of stuck until we can get rid of that glyph. But
Yeah.
is this what you were calling killing over for, Jojo?
Yeah, I was gonna start looking at this ledger, so It would have been nice to be able to do that in the study, but that's fine.
Big one upstairs. We'll figure this out eventually, I guess. It is a bit ominous that there's a room in this house that we can't get in. So.
What about are we able, Jojo, can you, when you do that magic sight,
Yeah.
are you able to tell what spell it is just by looking at it?
Just the school of magic.
Oh, okay. So I wonder if there's a way to enter the study, like teleport into it.
The
or something?
trigger could be if someone steps foot in the
right.
room.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess this is just off limits for now.
What about our friend? Can't he do it?
Who?
Paka strides forward between you. Not that I think you mentioned Paka, but Paka at this point, as you say that, strides forward and is like, I'm a friend, and reaches up and grabs the door handle and goes to turn it, and he's like, the door's locked. And he turns around and just walks away.
Thank
Maybe
you, Paka. I meant Rose Boy.
because he took off my mask.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this isn't a curse. I think that spell is
Oh.
specifically for curse removal.
Also, isn't he on his way, you know, probably with his locks flowing in the wind on a gallant steed, rushing down to save the poor citizens of, I can't remember what that town is called, Adrian.
Engorn.
Ingorn.
As Vincent says this, you guys all get
Jaeger.
just this absolutely vivid vision of Jaeger pulling his like
All of
short
them but
hair
him.
and just like as this hair just flows that like half inch in the wind, and then one of the roses dissipates.
Oh yeah, Killian, you weren't here when we figured it out. Jaeger visited the other day. You can let us know he's the dear old offspring of Lathander.
Oh,
He's a demigod.
see, so he's really powerful then.
Well, when I looked at his ash bond, he's still only level 2. His stats were quite above average, though.
Huh. I guess that explains a lot.
Yeah, I thought I had a crush on him and it was really annoying, but it was just the fact that he's
Yeah.
Xander's son, so that's okay.
He has this ability on the opposite sex. He leaves like an imprint on them. That's why you guys keep seeing him and roses. At least Jojo does. I think she's more susceptible to it.
Oh, I do too. It's just really irritating.
Just so my time.
That's the fucking god of childbirth for you. And he turns and makes his Lavos turns and begins to move away, just mildly frustrated.
I'm interested to see how it works on someone that has the capabilities of altering their body to produce offspring. It only affects them when they're in certain forms and not others, but that's a curiosity for another time.
Okay.
So what's our plan for today? Do we have anything that we needed to do for the Furies or finding Killig? What was on our plate today?
We do have a couple things on our
There's a
plate,
lot.
but I don't know if you guys wanted to just research. I don't know if it involves, aside from going into the dungeon and working towards like this later prom thing, everything else is sort of on a time limit or we need more information.
Yeah, I think that Jojo and I probably need to make many trips to the library.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I was planning on eating this today, and I like show the thing that I was gonna like
When
consume.
you say eat it, you like fork and knife, just like eat it, or is eat like a loose term?
Wouldn't you like to know, Jojo?
I'm very curious, and I don't want to see it.
What is it you're referring to?
Oh, the
The-
thing that when I touched the celestial was like, I want to
It
eat
was
it.
a starlight shard or
Ah,
something like
gotcha.
that.
Yeah. Like,
Which you bought off of
Baka.
Baka,
Yeah, I paid him with my
Wait, it wasn't
money.
a shard. What was it? It wasn't a shard. It was
Fragment.
a fragment.
Yeah.
Very different.
Next thing you'll eat is a splinter. Next thing
Mhm,
you'll eat
mhm,
is a
mhm.
slice of pizza.
Yeah. You get a moonlight piece, and then you get a like a heavens piece.
A crumb.
Yeah, a Heaven's Crumb. Actually, that's a good name. Someone now will be like Lauritius Crumb. Yeah. Look forward to meeting them.
Out of character, Killian and Matilda hadn't spoken with Pom Pom yet. Is that correct?
No, we have not.
And you still need to do your sending spell.
Oh, right.
Oh, actually, I think
Narratively,
No,
that
I did.
occurred.
Yes, that's right. Narratively, that did.
You just
occur.
didn't respond.
You had sent your sending spell. The message itself went through, and there was no response from the other side.
Yeah. So, still alive, ignoring me, is what
Seems.
I gleaned from that.
Left you in
Yes.
red.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you send the message, it just says seen.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll join you. Is Pom Pom's on the way to the library?
Depends on
No,
what
I don't
library you're
think so.
going to, but
Not the owl one.
The Owl is the largest free library in the city, owned by the Ogma, the god of free knowledge. And as it sits, it is the best repository for you within the range. There's various other libraries, but typically they demand you become a member to access more. You guys are a member of the Owl.
JoJo's researcher background allows her to know where you would find certain information you're trying to research. So, if you have a certain topic you're looking for, if you let me know, I can point you towards the library. Not that you might not be able to get into all of them.
Matilda, would Pom Pom, if you're busy with the library stuff, would Pom Pom be willing to just meet with me?
It depends. Day.
Okay.
Pom Pom is like a breeze. Some days the breeze is going north, some days it's going a direction you don't even know exists. So we'll see what the day is like today. Usually if I ask, they'll do anything.
In what way do you feel today? The breeze was going north yesterday, so today it will be Sprelth.
Yeah,
What
pretty
direction
much.
is Sprelth exactly? So the way that we have adjusted Spotlight is so that when we roll Spotlight, everybody gets to determine the scene and the premise that you guys wish to do, and then everybody gets to interact with that. So if you guys want to go to the library, talk to Pom Pom, do this, do that, that can all happen with everybody involved at different parts during the day, and then upon the end of Spotlight, the day will end. If something needs to happen at a specific time, such as nighttime, then that would overtake things like long rest, if you guys plan to rest at night, or work for Vincent, for example. But for the most part, you guys can work and do the things that you want to do during the day. Everybody just gets one spotlight. So in this instance, let's go ahead and roll that. Give me a d20, y'all. Ooh,
Rolls big money. Ooh, 2 18s. Who has
yeah,
the
big
higher
numbers, better people.
My dex is a 12.
dex? Killian?
14.
You win.
Okay, Matilda, you rolled a 14. Killian, you rolled a 18. Vincent, 16. So which among the 18s goes first? And JoJo's also.
Killian. Killian goes first.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. It is in line. Killian, we begin with you.
Right.
As you all find yourselves within the manor and have just finished cleaning up, Lavos looks towards you all and packs you each a boxed lunch and says, "This will handle your rations for the day. You don't need to worry about that. There you go. There's a small octopus in each of those, but don't worry, it's not live. It's actually made of cocktail weenies. I'm going to continue researching into something. I feel like I'm getting a bit of a lead on something, and I might be able to get back to you on this. I got connections in the exterior of the city trying to follow some of these missing people. I'm going to get back to you by the end of the day, I think."
Oh, cute.
Okay.
He nods.
Thanks, Lavos.
Be off, you lovely little splinters.
Is
Did you make yourself a lunch?
Oh, yeah. Well, I got the house here, so I was thinking I was just
Okay.
going to make a sandwich later or something like that. Maybe, polonaise or something. A little bit of a dressing on there, but... You see, he just goes off about various different ingredients, the likes of which you've never even heard of.
Maybe spend some time with Elora. You two could maybe play a game or something. She likes cards occasionally.
I wouldn't mind if she teached me a little bit about a few things.
Well,
Maybe grammar too.
you
It
guys
might
are
be
off
one.
to study, right? You three?
Yeah. Well, Matilda, if you, if it's too out of the way, I could take my chance with the breeze.
Killian, shh. Let's go to Pom Pom's house. Follow me.
I
If you
get
guys don't
Blade
mind, though,
Mm.
I have something else I'd like to look into, sort of out of the city. I'll be back later this evening, though. Actually, probably more in the morning. I do wish to look tonight if it's not too much to ask. Do we have anything planned? Or are you guys going to just be nose and book for the next couple of days?
Probably knows in book.
Just send me a quick message via the courier.
You want the
if you need
stone?
anything.
Who's the stones right now?
Vincent holds up the stone.
Okay, great.
Or
We already got it.
work too. I think Lava still has the other one, so.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you want Bladebeak if you're going outside of the city?
It's still within a family's district. I just gotta head up somewhere near Akadi's. There's someone there that might be able to make something for me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. As you all split off.
What was that face, Candace?
You're gonna go off by yourself to the troll who makes magic musical items, who's like living with an evil god who kills everyone who goes into his forest? That sounds like a great idea.
Wait, I don't remember that second part.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It did bring snacks.
Here, I brought this for you. The box lunch from Lavos.
It has a weenie octopus in it.
I guess we'll see how this goes.
It's like Loki's child, right? The wolf child? That's the god, right?
It is Motor. Motor is a Jotun, but he kind of resembles a large front half of a humanoid, but with these large kind of deer antlers that attach to the back of the head. And like an upturned body that faces downward with 4 long arms and a massive kind of emaciated deer's body that stands
Real
at easily
Wendigo
16 feet.
motherfucker.
It is
always
a
do-
terrifying visage.
I always do appreciate that Bianca's characters are always massive hypocrites, and it's like always very hilarious. They're like, I'll go just put myself in a very spooky, scary forest where I could die. Bye, guys.
Spooky, scary forest time. I
I
can
just
actually
pictured
arrange you guys this
him
way.
going to some dude's shop. So that's how this went over in my head.
Some dude shack.
We'll see.
So, I lost the order because I changed scenes. I believe, Vincent, you were third, yes?
Yes.
This is still Killian though, right?
Yeah, Killian's going.
Yeah. So, let me go ahead and adjust this. Killian. You traverse through the city. Who all is traveling with? Killian, Matilda, and Jojo, are you going as well?
Where's the Rift Hunters Guild?
Okay. Killian and Matilda. Traversing through the city.
Obviously
skip
not in that direction.
Doot, 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 doot. All
Very
the way
Red
up.
Riding Hood because I'm like skipping down the path in the forest with my basket with my lunch. It's like doo 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 doo.
Are you guys taking a jaunt, or are you taking a carriage?
We will after we get out of the woods, because like we no carriage will come directly to our house. The Uber's like no.
Yeah, that will be 5 silver. Yeah, the Uber's, yeah.
I have Bladebeak with me, so I'm not carriaging.
Can we ride
Okay.
together?
On Bladebeak? No.
On Bladebeak, no, he's a medium creature.
Okay.
No bueno for you.
It's not as though Bladebeak couldn't either, because it's just made of steel. But when you get on, if you place another feather on Bladebeak, it's just like poof. Weight limit exceeded.
Well,
You all
I
find
paid
yourselves-
5 silver.
Okay. You find yourselves traversing through the lanes of dawn. In this just kind of like fun exchange, you sit within the carriage and Bladebeak astride it. And every time you guys need to talk to each other, you just like pop open the window and you're just like, what time is it? as you talk to each other, passing through the just fine city streets. There seems to be, like this light pitter-patter of rain, and the ash that is falling around you picks up to be relatively heavy. You look around you, and it's actually visibility is relatively lowered. And as the pitter-patter of rain hits the top and just kind of Bladebeak fans out the tail and tries to raise it above you to act as an umbrella, you make your way towards Fenn's Finders Keepers within the Harvest Ward. And in this little nook, this little marketplace of circled homes, you enter into the fine little shop. Looking down at it, it's this, it has like this one little wooden raised balcony that leads to the front door. And as you enter in, it's got this very, very interesting looking occultist interior. Lots of blacks and purples. The curtains are drawn, and even when they're not, light seems to just be sucked up by the walls around. This pencil-thin mustached individual, tall, lithe, with a confident look, approaches you all. And it's just like, "Ah, Matilda, you've returned."
Hi, Pom Pom. This is
Hello.
Killian.
Hello. Ah, a dungeon-born, are we?
Yes. And she once again like thrusts out a hand to shake his hand.
Are you against being poisoned?
I suppose.
Pulls out a book and writes that down. Places the book back in his lapel, reaches out and shakes your hand. It is a pleasure to meet you. Any family member of Matilda's is welcome. He smiles.
Pom Pom, can you please write down that Jojo and Vincent and Lavos are not to be poisoned as well? I thought I made that very clear.
I must ask every time. There are specific physiologies about the dungeon-born that are still mysteries. And it would not hurt to have at least one agree to be poisoned.
I mean, depending on the poison, if it wouldn't kill me outright, I could be willing, if it'll help.
Just strikes a big line out of the book. Says, "I will prepare something right away. What can I do for you? What brings you here today?" And you see a customer enter in, and he's just like, "Leave." Just close the door again.
Well, it's gonna sound weird, I guess. But we had a dream. And in that dream, I met with one of my family, my clutch mates. And they said that they got a job with, with an apothecary. But in actuality, outside of the dream, they're missing. And I've sent a sending to them, and they didn't respond, so they're not dead. But dreams mean things, right? So why would he have said apothecary without... I don't really know any apothecaries, so... do you know of any apothecaries that hired goblins?
That would hire dungeon-born. Not strictly above board, likely for the same reasons as which I had requested upon you when you entered. These things are not strictly legal, I suppose. But if you are looking for one that might be of interest, I could begin looking into this for you, Matilda. And for you, Killian. But a favor will need to be exchanged.
Is that a family favor or a personal favor?
He pulls out a small vial and then places it down on the table. It says, "Very personal."
Is that the poison?
Distilled. Very light. I always keep one on me just in case. But this one is more of a cheeky poison. I simply need you to remain poisoned for the day and tell me of any side effects.
Do I have to stay here?
No. It would be better if you remain in the sun for large periods of time.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. I didn't have any other major plans today.
What we'll do is the day that we have to work on the formula for the 4th floor and do a bunch of work outside, I'll stay with you the whole time and take notes, and I'll also be standby first aid.
Oh, right.
Yeah?
Well, if we're gonna be working on that, wouldn't it be better if I wasn't poisoned? I'm not gonna be my best if
Well,
that's the case.
Do you want to take it now?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of get it out of the way, right?
Matilda, like, turns on the pommel. This won't kill it, Willem. Will it? Sorry. Will it?
He says, no. Bare minimum poison. I give it to customers who believe that they've managed to wrangle something out of me.
Oh, okay. Bottoms up.
Mitra's a fan of it. You drink the poison. Go ahead and roll a Constitution saving throw. Pom leans in and just begins to watch.
Now, I guess here's a question. There's no way that I could say that I want the poison to succeed, right?
Not for Constitution.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured.
You succeed.
Oh.
Pom watches you drink it and kind of like pays attention. You just like little just bit of burbles, and then you just kind of sits and just examines you, waiting for like a cold sweat or something, and he says, "Fascinating."
I give you a mint leaf to chew on. It's a mint leaf. It'll make your mouth taste better.
Very well, I shall look into any apothecaries within the city that might hire Dungeonborn. However, the few that I do know would have a bit more underground dealings are as follows. And he pulls out his book. In the Anvil District, there is a small apothecary called the Silent Shrieker. This one might be something you would be interested in. Is there any particular district that you have been studying in regards to this?
Killian turns to Matilda like, do you remember?
There is not really a set district at the moment. We've been noticing there's been a lot of people missing from different various places, and it's related to this symbol. She draws a symbol of the cult, and we've been noticing that it is a not demonic. Otherwise, they'd be talking to Mama Mal about this. But they are still doing human sacrifice, but divine human sacrifice, even if that makes sense. So then I was thinking, okay, well, they're not actually dismembering or killing people. How else could you do human sacrifice? So I'm wondering if they're sacrificing someone's psyche. But anyway, we are looking into it. But if there's anyone that you know that has a symbol that has business with you or anything, but we think that they might target monstrous races because people are incredibly awful and racist and will not notice when those people have gone missing.
Also, we're most of the family are trying to rank break right now, and we got kind of visions, and my vision was seeing Killig drowned.
How long did it take, roughly? What do you think their oxygen capacity of their lungs was, roughly?
I mean, Killig doesn't really do a lot.
Oh. Would you call them average?
Well, before we came to the city, they were a shepherd. That's a lot of walking.
I have no interest in those with cardiovascular strength. I will look into this. Well, actually, I won't. I have other things to do, but I can give you information for you to look into, which I have.
Okay, the Silent Shrieker Anvil.
Indeed. If there is any other... Every now and then I deal with an individual known as... what was their blasted name? Well, gnomish. Relatively large for a gnome, but somewhat thin. Wears very fine, peacocked clothing. If you approach them from the side, they make a wonderful noise of terror. His name is Julian. I will write this down for you. They are the one who currently manages the front of the Silent Shrieker. Do not mention my name, but mention that you are interested in perhaps finding work or something akin. Maybe you could follow in your friend's footsteps. Be the guinea pig, as it were, the scapegoat.
So I should lie to them?
Yes. Do they know who I am?
Well, in the Anvil, I doubt it. If they were in the Lanes of Dawn, they might, or the Circle, or the... Well... Really, marble slates. We are somewhat known somewhere, but I don't think that this individual has any inkling. We deal with them on a low basis.
Are they bound?
No. You can threaten them if you like. They are practically powerless.
Okay.
But a very good alchemist. Do you wish to purchase any herbal remedies while you are here? I'm welcome to give you a small discount for Matilda's sake. And Matilda, you're dealing with your first cult. He brings you in for a hug. I'm so proud. And your family is lovely. I love them. They're willing to poison themselves for you. You've earned my trust.
Oh, thank you. Same here.
I don't believe you. And he turns around and gives Matilda another hug.
Okay. No, I'm good.
Right.
I don't need anything right now.
All right, time to go. Bye, Pom Pom.
Thank
Farewell,
you
Matilda.
again.
Be as safe as you determine it to be worthwhile. And you as well, Killian. You should probably be safer than she is.
I'll do my best.
Excellent. Tell the customer cowering outside he can come inside at any time. You open the door and you see that there's an individual sitting there kind of smoking a pipe who looks over at you, like thick mutton chops that come down to a low beard. This just like large, burly dwarven woman. Looks over and is like, "Oi."
I like scrunch up my face and like make it look spooky. I'm like, enter, like Pom Pom does.
Aye, it's why I come here. You all are spooky. I like it. And as you pass by, they open the door, and you see them just kind of like reach up, grab the door, and go before opening and entering in. And as you
Going
guys,
into a haunted house.
as you guys tear into this little piece of information that Pom Pom has granted you, the camera pulls away, and Jojo, we zoom in upon you. As you find yourself currently at the outset of Old Town, where do you go? How do you do it? What do you pay for? Give me some money.
Jojo is going to walk to the edge of Old Town and then walk. She's not going to look for people that might be following her, but she's going to walk past Melora's home.
I have one question for you before this. In the early morning, did you do your typical daily run?
I think... Did she do her typical morning run? I think that she has been doing her morning runs in like perimeters of Old Town. Like she has been starting closer to the wall, and every day she does it a little like 10 feet farther away from the wall of Old Town, just to get like a feel of what the forest surrounding them, so that she can if they ever have to defend from that side, she knows like what the tactical advantages are of the forest.
I would say this. Go ahead and roll perception.
14. We have established that Jojo doesn't see anything while she runs.
That's true. With a 14, I think you're probably just a little bit overtaken this time, because as you are basically doing a everyday thinner and thinner circle around the area, you're just scan line recording the area around you. You find off in the distance, just to the north of the manor, or the south of the manor, technically, because we're facing that way, there is a little dug-in pit In the dirt, you can see grass has been cleared away a little bit, and there is a campfire and signs of footprints, footsteps, and a bit of movement. It looks like the campfire itself is smoldering. Somebody was out here in the forest last night.
Camping. Huh? Okay.
And you gain that little bit of information during your morning run, and now you find yourself at the edge of Old Town proper.
Yeah, she walks past Melora's house and to where the Rift Hunters Guild is, which I'm sure is nowhere close to where Pom Pom's place is.
Do you know where that is?
Does Jojo know where that is the question. I think she has interest in the Rift Hunters, but I personally don't know where that is, and I don't know if Jojo would have a reason to know it either. Maybe she'd know a general area, but not exactly.
I think I'll say go ahead and roll investigation for the time that you have been interested in the Rift Hunters Guild. 22. It's not secret information. As you have frequented the library and with your researcher background, you're just like, oh, I could inquire at the interface. As for the location of the guilds, you do so. And you know that the Rift Hunters Guild, just north of the gates, sits within Savras's district, just south of the Amarantine Palace, in a little corner. It is actually attached to Savras's home down here.
Oh, okay. Savras is the god of what?
I can show you. Actually, go ahead and roll his religion for me.
16?
16. Savras is a god of mages and wizards, and is in service to Mystra, the goddess of magic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some said that once when he was immortal, he was one of a mighty coalition of mages, but the rest of the knowledge you're not really certain of. It's a bit obscure.
Is that the same coalition of mages that Azuth was part of as well?
I think with your 16, you know that Azuth and Savras don't get along very well.
Weren't they both former lovers of Mystra?
A lot of people are attempted former suitors of Mystra.
Yeah, okay.
But the Rift Hunters Guild is attached to, like, within the outer walls of Savras.
Awesome. Yeah.
His own home of the Hall of Divining. As you begin to make your way there, carriage?
Yeah, she's gonna carriage.
Yeah, give me your money. So that's a hefty chunk of cash here. You're gonna pay 6 silver, 7 copper.
6 silver, 7 copper? Okay.
Brilliant, like, wonderful capitalism. Just engage in a bit of a spot of capitalism.
Okay.
Okay. Finding your way to the outer gates of Savras while judging me, you look onwards towards the open area, and there's no guards, seemingly. Looking over at the Hall of Divining, you see this massive, brilliant white brick building with red-topped roofs, and as you pass by windows, you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 windows in total. Got nothing more to do during like the 10-minute walk down their pathway, but as you look back, you see 12 windows, and you're like, but what? And then like backing up towards the beginning of the ward, there's 8 windows, and you never see the building change, but it always seems to be shifting in the amount of rooms within it.
These fucking these fucking magic god buildings are never they're never just normal, are they?
No escaping it. But you reach the Rift Hunters front, like large guild house, this kind of inset U-shaped building in a similar fashion to Savras's itself. But you can see it's been recently renovated, like within the last few years. Mm-hmm. And as you approach, the doorways seemingly just like begin to open, then you just hear screeching as the magical attempted opening just falls short, and the doors themselves kind of bent downwards now hit against the stone front.
Okay, good try. And she opens up the rest of the door and walks in.
You pass in. For the most part, you see a single person there, large greatsword on their back and like a war hammer at their hip. This large human woman, shaved head with like the bottom half of her head in this one thick ponytail that is then also wrapped up and stabbed with a fork to keep it in place. Just sitting off to the side, pining over some papers. And you see someone at the front desk, this just young human man who's dressed very, very proper in this kind of old, almost Altician attire, this just white and gold vestment that's nice little suit. You approach, and he just stares at you with these hazel eyes. Doesn't even speak. And then,
Hey, how
welcome
does one?
to the. You please.
Okay, how does one sign up for this Rift Hunter thing?
To the Rift Hunters Guild. You seem to
Yeah.
know where you are. That's good.
Yeah, step number 1.
Step 1. No, actually, there's a few steps. You're looking to sign up. You want to be a member.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Here, I'm going to go ahead and find some paper here. All right. He leans down and kind of just grabs the side of a book, and you see he flips it around and begins to write on the leather backing. Name?
Jojen, the Calamity makes.
Calamity.
Those are
Calamity.
that's like a epithet, you know, like an orc. You can just put Jojen makes if that's
It's a cool epitaph.
yeah, it's pretty. That's what I thought.
Yeah. He continues writing. So here's the thing. First things first, before we move ahead with anything else, I need to just look up the rules. It's just a quick minute.
He looks up on his computer.
No, he just pulls it out he pulls out an abacus first, and he begins to mess around with that. And he's like, that's not gonna get me the rules. So if you're looking to join, what are you, diplomat, escort, hunter?
Hunter.
Oh, sorry. Let me actually tell you what those are.
Hunter sounds right.
With various different jobs in the guild, both if you want to be a member, eventually you move up to whelp, and then then you're an actual proper member of the guild, right? Members, you join in, give you a bit of a test, see what you're about, and then upon the assumed completion of your personality test and the obstacle course, comprehension test, after a few things, you become a rankless member. Just a whelp. And then people treat you like shit, and it's great. Friendship, family. I had brothers, I had a sister, ass beat every day, and it feels exactly the same. So then you become a spark, a chaser, a slayer, a reaper. Eventually you can own cities. It's pretty awesome. Some great benefits in the Rift Hunters Guild.
What are you? What rank are you?
I'm a spark, so I reign over the whelps of the area, as it were. But I'm just I'm not a hunter or anything. I'm a diplomat. Typically, I go and speak with some people. But yeah. Nice to meet you. My name's Max. M-A-K-S is how you spell my name.
M-A-K-S? Max?
Yeah, that's the one. No family name. Chose to get rid of it. I have a very interesting and rich backstory, but I don't need to bring that up right now. Maybe if you become a little bit more. But for now, we're just going to need a little bit of some gold down front to see that you are willing to
okay, how much you need?
It's a sizable chunk. And I know it's a lot of people can't manage it. 25 gold.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, she takes out her new bag of 400 gold, and she starts counting out 25 of it.
It just looks down and looks back up at you. He's like, okay, great.
Uh-huh.
So first, if you're interested, we can schedule your obstacle course. The written comprehension test can take place at the same time, and then you'll undergo a personality test under threat of death.
Great, good. I feel like somehow the personality test will go better that way.
It does. They really get to know what you're about. But just to let you know, you're not really in any danger except that we might kill you. Cool. So, devotion, dedication, direction. 3 words you're going to need to become very familiar with for the Rift Hunters. How you feeling?
Yeah, great. You don't have any sort of researcher. You said there's diplomats, there's hunters, and then there was the one other one, right?
That's actually quite a few. We got diplomats, escort, hunters. You'd be a mentor, but that's later. We got many merchants, smiths, scholars, and surveyors also under our belt.
How many people in the Rift Hunters actually give a shit about why the Rift show up? What the...
He slams his fist down on the table, halfway through, and the woman at the back with that warhammer does suit almost in unison, just poof, through the entire chamber, and it just stops you mid-sentence, and they say, every goddamn person here.
Awesome.
All right. All right. So, when do you feel like you can drop by for some of the tests to see whether or not you are Rift Hunter worthy?
You guys need time to set up stuff like that?
We have a few people just kind of waiting in line at current. So, if you want, we can put you in pretty much any time from tomorrow onward.
Yeah. Tomorrow, I think I can do tomorrow. Yeah.
All right, well, let us know if anything happens and you can't make it. We're happy to reschedule. As long as you actually show up, we need to see whether or not you are willing to go the distance. So,
What are,
If often.
yeah, never mind. I'll see for myself. Okay, great. I'll see you tomorrow then. Tomorrow morning?
He says, wait, what was that last thing he says? Never mind, you'll see for yourself.
Yeah.
writes that-
I've
he
heard
writes
some
that
things
down?
about reputation, but I'd like to see for myself what the Rift Hunters seem to be about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a Rift Hunter way. Woman at the back just like
looks at
stares at
him.
you.
She looks at him, write that down. Okay. And then she starts to walk out.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
You turn, you make your way toward the front door, and as you exit the chamber, the individual who's sitting at the table just takes a look at you up and down for a brief moment. Roll a charisma check with advantage.
Okay. Every time I roll, I'm like, man, I should have saved that birthday advantage.
I gotta tell you, the birthday advantage you used was pretty spicy.
Okay,
It's
great.
just in the
I love
background.
not knowing what it did. So I'm like, I love the chaos, but I'm like, ooh, every single roll, I'm like, I could have had it for this. 18's not bad though.
18. She gives you a nod, and as she does, you see this just flare of the divine in her eyes. And then as she just turns back away from you, you see just this little bit of a tattoo underneath the bottom half of her hair just recede in this faint glowing golden white.
I'm seeing her eyes flash, JoJo's eyes flash in her magic cosmos, and she does magic awareness at her.
This whole room is just dense with magic. The weapon she is wielding is magic. Looking at her, she has at least one. She has a spell effect going on her right now that is just the invisibility.
Okay.
You see that it is basically just this form of divination that is coming basically from the top of her head.
I assume the eye. Yeah.
But as she looks towards you, her hammer is magic. She is wearing this just overcoat on top of this plate armor that is also magic. She has even back there, the dude who was scribing with a pen on top of that book behind. The book is magic, the pen is magic. It seems like from this, you assume that they're just more capable than they were let off.
Yeah. I think JoJo's actually very happy with what she's found here. She didn't really realize how magic and intellectual they were about it based on other things she heard. She thought these were just a bunch of racist assholes. So she's like, okay, great. This might not be what I heard about them. Let's see. But yeah, she gives this is a human woman.
Mm-hmm.
She gives her a nod as her eyes sort of flash with the cosmos and then wisp away, and then she continues out the door.
All right. And as you exit the area, roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, cool. Test starts now. Do I see the thing that I am dexteritying?
Your passive perception. Yes, you can see it.
Thank you. 14.
14. You open the door, and looking back towards the other woman with a flare in your eyes, the doorway opens, and you are immediately slammed with a massive flood of water that just pushes you back in. You scrape against the back, hits the solid stone ground, and you scrape a few feet. And then afterwards, you just hear, "You're gonna have to do better than that." Oh.
She I think it pushes her back, and she tries and rolls up out of it back onto her feet.
Roll acrobatics.
Oh, it's gonna be so embarrassing if she does that. 17.
17. You do manage to do this, just combat roll back onto your feet. It's like, oh, fuck. Well,
She's got
that's
a
little
grin
bit
on her
better.
face as she does it too. Cheap shot.
Yep. One thing you're gonna need to know about rifts. They never wait for you. They might just appear right in front of you, so be ready. It begins to make its way through. Just raises a hand to help you up to your feet. You see this?
She takes it.
This large blue-skinned individual stands very fish-like features, and as he holds himself up, you see just this massive gut that's held in by these like strips that aren't even about just maintaining the stomach, but about accentuating the folds, as he just creates multiple layers on his body using very tight strips of cloth. And then as you approach, he's wearing this almost genie-like top, just crop top for like brief moments that's cut down the center like a vest. He looks very genie-like. He's wearing golden beads in his sparse pale blue hair. And then as he lifts you up, he just gives you a wink with like a single flash of like water just drips down like a tear. And then he just says, well, name's Bloat. It's nice to meet you.
Bloat. I'm Jojo.
Might end up seeing you in the future. But right now I got business.
Okay.
All right. I'll get lost.
Yeah, she gets lost.
Closing the door, you hear him walk back, and he's like, hey, Max. Oh, hey, Bloat. How's it going, man? Just writing down some, and then the doorway closes. And you begin to make your way through the city streets.
Awesome. I love this place. It's awesome.
Vincent, you find yourself in a carriage, making your way towards the Emerald Gates of Amaranth.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your money.
That's fine.
Give me my money.
You will need to pay for your carriage. Let's see. It's a hefty chunk. That is just one gold piece flat from one side of the city to the other. And you were looking at a little over 2 hours of travel as you pass through the area and make your way all the way to the Emerald Gates.
As Vincent gets out of the carriage, he'll thank the person driving him, and as they drive off, he's gonna put his hands through his hair again, and he's gonna cast awe on himself.
The carriage stops, and you see the driver kind of like peek around the corner and look back towards you for a moment. And then the carriage, as soon as you kind of notice them looking, there's like, oh, and the carriage starts up again. They begin to leave. They just like almost swerve off the road and then bounce back.
Mm-hmm. Vincent will start heading in the direction that he was told, where he can go visit this individual. Her name is Ungald, or Undegald. I don't know how to say this, Adrian.
Do you want to copy paste it? I believe it's Undgald. Oh, I see. Undgard. You reach the outer gates of Amaranth. You were told that this individual lived within Motor's district. Given basically like he lives within the forests on the outward area. You look onward and you see in the Skyborn Acres, this just outer expanse of Amaranth. Reaching the outer area, you find a small contingency of soldiers that stop you briefly, and they say, are you with the outer force, or are you traveling with different business?
Traveling with different business. Why, what's going on?
Just some monsters on the exterior of the city, nothing to worry about.
I'll give it a note of that, thank you.
Very well. What is your business today?
Just looking for an individual that might be in, Vincent will mention the family name that I can't remember.
The Motor family?
Yeah.
It says, Motor family. I don't think there is a Motor family. It's a monster.
To each his own.
I suppose. Listen, you're not into anything nefarious, are you?
No, dear. I'm simply looking for someone who might be able to make me some musical instruments.
Stares at you long and hard for a brief moment. Another guard approaches and it's just like, we got more waiting. Right, of course. You might want to...
Darling, if you come by the Ishtar district, maybe you'll hear me perform.
Don't happen by that district very often. Go on your way.
Vincent will start heading.
So the other guard approaches and says, yeah, I don't know anything about a motor family, but if you're interested, you might want to check at the Phoenix Roost. They know a lot about what happens around the outer area of the city. It's a little inn just down the way. He points out kind of the pathway that would lead you there, down over here.
Okay. One thing to note, on his way over, he did want Mo to come with him, but he's to stay invisible the whole time, so.
Okay, in that case. Okay.
And then in Mo's head, he's just gonna hear, make sure you keep a lookout.
I will do my absolute best. I've rolled a perception check for Mo.
Vincent wasn't given like an area this person was in specifically, or is he gonna have to try and find it? I am unclear on this. I thought he knew where he was.
In general, all you really at current know is that they exist somewhere in the outer forest, but these guards have told you that checking at the Phoenix Roost is the best opportunity to find this person.
Okay, you'll head over there.
That is another roughly hour of travel. Do you wish to have an exterior carriage or a horse?
Sure, Vincent will take a horse. It's been a while. Let's see. He used to practice a lot on them with the Lexi, but
It'll be like 9 copper. Hopping up onto the horse, you begin to make your way. Very well trained, wonderful kind of chestnut horse. And moving through kind of the outer, just packed dirt pathways, passing off as the merchant caravans pass through the outer area, you see travelers from all over in a constant immigration effort towards Amaranth. And moving through, people glancing up towards you and seeing the tattoos that cover your body in like just the neckline exposed, the bits that are visible through the hands or however much is currently showing, just glancing with this mad admiration. And children glaring up towards in abject fear of the horns and teeth that sit on this wine-skinned tiefling.
He'll give them a polite smile. He'll seem as non-threatening as possible as he passes by.
You see some of the people literally just like grasp onto their family as they see you moving and are just have never seen a tiefling before in their life. You ascertain probably from the southern colonies of Aboria, or so far north that they would never even have seen green before. But you pass through nonetheless, and you make your way to the Phoenix Roost, one of a small inn, virtually one of the only within the area, and you see a large domed roof on top of a tower that seems like a watchtower for the general area. A large phoenix painted on the side in old wood that's long since rotted away.
You'll hop off the horse and head in. Did not realize take that much. I will not cast on myself this time.
We can totally kind of hold that back, because you as a character were probably just like, I don't know when I'll meet this individual. But entering into the Phoenix Roost, roll a fate dice for me.
6. Not favorable.
You move in.
Unless you flip that. Who knows?
You move in. You reach the front door. And as you begin to push it open, on the inside you hear this just jaunty tune being played out loud. Go ahead and find this. Entering into the room, there's a few patrons in here, mostly seemingly just drained from long rest periods and just massive travel time. Being ocean view and just oceans astride Amaranth is the just sheer distance people need to travel in order to make it here. Many don't survive the journey. The Phoenix Roost seems to be one such place of rest on the exterior of Amaranth that allows for a little bit of peace. However, as you enter in, the few that are here, and even the one who stands behind the bar, give you particularly terrified stares. The musician that is sitting on a tall plinth, or a tall platform at the back, kind of just hesitates for a brief moment as you walk through. And you see just these defined looks of
Can
discomfort.
I insight check? Are they discomforted by the fact that I'm a tiefling, or is it something else?
Roll insight.
21.
These people, judging by all of them, none of them bound, all of them travelers, heavy packs, keeping close to their feet underneath their tables, seem to be in a similar fashion to those you had just passed. Very unfamiliar with tieflings. Or just terrified.
They think he's akin to a monster. Okay, cool. Does the bar person at the front of the bar, the tavern keeper, seem to reacting the same way towards Vincent?
They stopped kind of wiping down, the tavern keeper motion. Just have a cup, currently cleaning it. They place it down and they grab another clean cup and just like hesitantly begin to clean that again. You can see they're also nervous.
Vincent will just kind of go up to the front of the bar and kind of lean on it a bit. Hello there. I took. Hold on. Bianca's having a moment with her words. I heard that you might be the person I need to speak to gain some information around here.
I know quite a bit, but let's make it short.
Sure, I don't mind getting straight to the point. I'm looking for someone named Ungard. They should be in the Motor family somewhere.
You see he pauses for a second, he's about to say something, and then the look in his face just changes ever so slightly, and he's like, right, yep, that guy will be able to help you right there. Points towards the person currently playing on the platform at the back. I think he's got one of the instruments that thing makes.
Thank you. And Vincent will lean up. Based on the fact that he called him a thing, he's not going to tip him. He's going to walk away. He'll go kind of lean over. What kind of instrument is this? Like a lute?
It's sitting with a lute, but it's kind of oddly shaped. It seems like bulbous in various different areas, but due to that, the chamber on the interior allows this just reverberation of sound that seems very interesting to you. A little bit dissonant and very deep, kind of just echoing within itself almost.
He'll kind of lean against the wall next to where he's playing and just kind of wait for his set to be done. It's rude to interrupt someone who's playing an instrument.
And at that exact moment, the loop begins once more. You see him kind of just stop abruptly and just look around, waiting for, like, the people in the area are all just backed away. You see two guards that are at the entrance to the door that see you, have noticed your tattoos, and look towards the guy on the platform, just like, you're on your own. And he just kind of places the loot in a case and closes it. Lock. Places that on his back, and he's like, can I help you?
Well, I was just admiring your pretty music. It's decent.
Thank you very much.
I've heard that a certain individual might have made your instrument for you. I'm looking for them.
He looks around to see whether or not the rest of the patrons are listening, and having heard before the tavern keeper kind of openly talk about the instrument, he's like, we should probably let's go outside, he says loudly enough for the guards at the front to hear. And then he makes his way over just hesitantly towards the front door, where he opens it up and steps out into the open air.
I apologize if my presence is causing some sort of disturbance here. Happens on occasion. Usually people like me, though.
Right. I got this from a troll in the forests, but it's a bit, I don't exactly know what to say about it. I was traveling along the western road. I just go that way west from here and just keep going. Eventually you hit a thicket of forest, and he found me. I thought he was going to eat me, and he handed me this. I just put it down on the ground at my feet and left. It sounds pretty good.
Well, he saw some talent in you, it seems.
So it didn't eat my fingers, so that's positive.
Well, this is quite interesting. Thank you. Are you going to head into the city soon, or are you heading out?
Just like looks off into the distance. A few people approaching. I haven't quite decided yet.
Well, if you do, look for me, and Vincent will hand over one of his business cards. Not necessarily this, but I play around in the city here and there. Sunni's district and Ishtar's.
He reaches up. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'd be interested in you hearing.
Roll persuasion. But as you go to hand him this card, he reaches up and you see him like pull a necklace out and just kind of like hold on to it for a brief moment. With your passive perception, you do get to see that just brief flash of the bladed sun, the symbol of Altissia, as he grabs onto it and then takes your card and just begins to look at it. And just without giving it a proper glance, not even turning it over to the other side, he just puts it in his shirt. Perhaps.
I rolled a 16, by the way.
Yes. As he places the card within his lapel.
Does it seem like he's still thinking Vincent's some sort of monster, and that's why he flashed this like symbol?
He didn't flash it necessarily, but he like your passive insight's crazy, so he grasped it almost to be like a protection against taking this item that was handed to him by someone of any kind of demonic lineage. You see two individuals approach the rear. You can hear the clinking of metal plates, and as you hear the kind of just faint shh of a blade behind you, a long sword drawn from its sheath just a few inches, an individual approaches wearing this just kind of white shoulder-length cloak and breastplate mail, hair kind of like pulled back, like bright blonde with piercing green eyes, a large scar across his face that carries across his lip and leaves a minor snarl. It says, "Can I help you?"
Is he talking to Vincent?
Yeah. Time for you to go. You're bothering this man.
I apologize. And he'll look towards him and give him a slight nod. Thank you for your patronage. And head off.
You turn, you begin to make your way past, and they go to shoulder check you. Do you contest?
Vincent try to gust him away.
I'd say roll dexterity to get your spell off before they attempt to sideline you. Then I will roll the saving throw for gust. Okay. 11. He does manage to make contact, plate shoulder into your kind of unarmored shoulder for a brief moment, and then you blast him, and he flies back 5 feet. Kind of the just height difference between the balcony you're on and the ground below. He kind of just stumbles, and then just hits the ground behind as the other person fully draws this longsword.
Yeah, sorry, I should have specified. I wasn't trying to push him back. I was trying to like make him fall over on the spot.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, he kind of falls down, hits the ground on the stairs, and kind of thuds a couple as the person behind does indeed draw their longsword. Get fucking gone, demon. Won't be dealing with any tieflings around here, and don't come back.
Vincent just gives him a toothy smile and heads out to the west.
Leans down and picks up his staunch ally, and the two of them, as you look around behind and you see the symbols on the back of their cloaks, once again the symbol of the bladed sun. And as you make your way away from the Phoenix Roost and you begin to move west.
What Vincent knows about the Alticia's fate is tieflings aren't necessarily evil in them. These guys are just
There's Altician faith, and you grew up mired in it because your mother is a staunch follower of Altissia, but there's so many sects, unfortunately. The nature of Altissia is that all creatures are created equally, and under Altissia, all creatures are the same. However, so many people take Alticia's grace as like humanist propaganda to say humans are above everybody else, everyone else is below humans, and then beyond that, even the gods are below the humans. because the humans created the gods in the creationism myth of Altissia. But there's as many series of beliefs in this religion as there are people. But your mother is a fantastic concept of a true believer of Altissia, and that grace and care kind of trump over all. Making your way out, you begin to move into the forests of the west, and astride your noble steed. This is where we will end today's episode. Thank you all for watching, and leaving on this
Until
note
note
of
that, guys.
two assholes in a room full of prejudice.
It's fine.
Yes.
It's just racism. It's not monsters.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time in the Dragonleaf. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.